Welcome to the Horror Hangout, a podcast where three film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time and talk about them. My name is Ben Errington, and I'm joined by co-host Mr.
Andy Conduit Turner. Hello, Ben.
Hello there. And we also have a very special returning guest. It's not Esther. No. If you listen to the show where we covered Orphan, I think it was back in February this year. You'll recognize her, so we thought it would only be fair to get her back for the prequel, more Orphan action. She's a Rotten Tomatoes approved critic, a TV film journalist with What to Watch, and she hosts a TV Time podcast. Welcome back, Lucy Buglass.
Hello, thank you for having me back. And I'm not Esther, thankfully, so no killing today.
You're not Esther, thankfully.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
Also saved us a fortune in the prequel. We haven't had to digitally de-age you by like 6 months or so.
I know, right?
Our budget for digitally de-aging people on this podcast is out. It's run out, unfortunately. So
it cost us millions to maintain this mustache. I shaved it off weeks ago.
I need to get a filter going on where I've got the pigtails, I think.
Orphan pigtails.
I'd enjoy that. Little ribbon. Yeah. How is everybody though? Is everybody good?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, excellent.
Happy to be back.
Happy to be back. So this, I think, is this the third time you've joined us? Third, because you joined us for Orphan, you joined us for Dash Cam.
Yep. Third time,
yeah.
I think. Yeah, I think so.
Third time is a charm. Yeah. So what? This came out. We're hot. This is hot off the press. Orphan First Kill. Only came out last week. We've all seen it, and it seems to be getting. Obviously, we won't go into the film just yet, but it seems to be getting a fairly positive reaction across all platforms. People are enjoying Esther's second run out. And you reminded me, obviously, we're going to spoil this film. We're also going to spoil the original here because I completely forgot. Esther did have her head off at the end of the first one.
Not quite, but it was definitely broken. Yeah. Vera Farmiga kicks her real hard in the head at the end of that, and then she falls down into oblivion. I think in the MCU you could bring her back to life, but in anything grounded in partial reality, then I'm not sure she's coming back from that. Which I feel may have partially painted them into a corner here, forcing them to do a prequel.
Yeah, because all the way through, just me not having a very good memory, all the way through, I was like, it would have been far cheaper to do a sequel because the digital de-aging stuff is just constant, isn't it? You just have to. It's just constantly on, whether they've just got a Snapchat photo on her face the whole time.
She looks a bit shiny sometimes. I find that sometimes a digital de-aging makes it look like, and I'm not an expert in makeup. I'm not bloody Max Factor, Ben, but
Mr. Max Factor himself.
Yeah, not maybe Max Factor himself, but it feels like when someone's been digitally de-aged, they've got a foundation on that doesn't quite suit their skin tone. That's what being digitally de-aged looked like.
Do you know what they did with this digital de-aging as well? Head proportions are all over the shop. Her head just needed to be reduced by, I reckon, at least 8%.
It's fluctuating wildly from pin to pumpkin every few seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we've got some horror news for this week. I don't know if any of you guys have seen any of these things, but we'll have a little chat about them. There's a trailer for the Wednesday Netflix show starring Jenna Ortega as Wednesday Addams. Tim Burton directed, of course, and we've also seen an official photo of the Addams family. Mark, I don't know, 4, if we're including animated versions as well. So Jenna Ortega obviously is Wednesday Addams. Luis Guzman is Gomez, and Catherine Zeta-Jones is Morticia. And I've seen some side-by-side comparisons of the original comic strip and this casting, and it looks pretty much spot on. So there's some interesting stuff in the trailer if you guys have seen it. There's piranhas in a school swimming pool. Yeah, it looks
fun.
promising, I think. It looks fun.
Does it look extra promising to you because of the reaction we had to the Munsters trailer a few weeks ago?
Yeah, possibly, maybe.
Those things always live side by side in my head because I don't know what the deal was original runs, but certainly when I was a kid, both the Munsters and the Addams Family had a resurgence of being on TV again before the film came out of the Addams Family in the early 90s. And yeah, I feel like those things naturally live side by side. They're both about spooky families. I did see something that was a bit kinder about the Munsters recently, though. Someone, I think it was on a podcast, pointed out that they felt like it had been filmed and lit for black and white, but then they'd had to colorize it. These people have been shown in color because that's what modern audiences expect. But actually, it wouldn't look quite so jarring if it was a black and white show. Phil, if you can you turn the color down on your TV now, or is that an olden days setting?
I'm sure you can. There's bound to be some sort of setting.
Doing it to sell black and white Blu-rays of Mad Max and the like. Can't just do it on your TV anymore.
Yeah, the Munsters Chrome Edition. What we're gonna see next. Yeah, possibly. I just think. I mean, for me, I think you're kind of either Munsters or Addams Family, aren't you? And I was kind of always Addams Family, and then I knew what the Munsters was, but I would never consider myself like a huge fan of it. So maybe that's why. I don't know. Possibly. But yeah, looks good, and it's coming out on the 19th of October. Is it October? November? Literally, as I was saying that, I closed the window down of what I was reading. That was very silly, wasn't it?
One of those dates or somewhere.
Don't know why I did that.
It's coming out soon. I wonder if this will be the resurgence of, people do the Addams Family clicking. Is this going to be a new generation's Friends clapping? Sweet at first, infuriating eventually.
I don't know. I think both are pretty annoying, to be fair. The clapping and the clicking.
Yeah, just don't join in with anything, guys. Just if you could.
Don't have fun ever.
Yeah.
Don't ever have fun ever. Fun is cancelled from now on.
We don't want fun here. No, it's not about
that. None of that. Only misery. Talking of misery. Talking of misery. What a segue.
Hey.
There is like a sneaky peeky bit of a trailer. It's not a trailer. I'm not going to call it a trailer because it's mere seconds. So HBO dropped like this sneak peek, like amalgamation of things coming up on HBO, and it showed, I want to say 15 seconds worth of The Last of Us TV show. My stomach flipped over like I would be excited on a roller coaster when I saw it, because I was like, oh, that looks bloody good. Oh, that's great, that does. Or the same sort of feeling you get when you see your food coming towards you in a restaurant after you've been waiting for a particularly long time. That's yours coming, that is. What? Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, it looks great as well. Look at that. Ah! That's how I felt. Did either of you see this?
Yeah, I watched it just a little while ago.
Yeah.
There's and Pedro Pascal as Joel. Just
I know
it. I mean, it looks perfect, but he sounds perfect. And and sure, like I've seen some people saying things. The problem with this show is that the lack of being able to interact with the story will take people out of it potentially. But I'm like, I almost don't care about that, because I love the story of both the games. I really want to enjoy it in a different medium, especially with someone like Pedro Pascal involved, who is great, and Bella Ramsey looks like she's going to be great as well. And it just looks like the perfect world that they've built for this show. And who's I know Andy's not played the games. Is that correct?
No, still not. Like I told you before, Ben, had time to buy them. Plenty of time for that. No time to play them though.
There's you'll be able to play them soon, because there's like the 9th version of the first game coming out now.
I get the opportunity to spend another 50 quid on it if I really want, but I won't. Exactly. I'm just going to play the perfectly acceptable PS4 version that I already have at some point eventually. Maybe inspired by finally getting to watch the show. Is the little bit of dialogue we got in the trailer, is that something lifted from the game?
Yes, it is. And again, I've seen a sort of side-by-side thing. It's a slightly different delivery, but I'm not going to expect the same delivery. I'm not about that life. Oh, I'm going to release
it. Absolutely the same. The camera angle's a little bit different to what they use in the game.
He pauses on a different line in that. Just looks great. Just looks bleak. And it's going to be emotional, and it looks like they've recreated like the opening sequence from, I know we only get like a split second, the opening sequence of the first game, and for a fact that is going to be a heart wrencher. I don't know, Lucy, did you say you played the games?
I haven't. No. I think we've talked about this back when I was on the first time. We've got a little bit of deja vu here, because I think we mentioned it in the hot. I think that they'd announced it or something like that when we were talking about it originally, and I still haven't played it. And I need to, because I know too much about it at this point, but I want to actually give it a go.
Same old problem, isn't it? Like content is infinite, time is not.
This is it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think maybe so I'm currently replaying Last of Us 2, and yeah, I think maybe that's why my excitement for seeing a clip of the show is so, it's like, I'm playing that right now. Oh my god.
Look at this guy, time to replay something like the grasshopper who fiddled all bloody summer.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I did
because
like the little delivery of the line there. Seen in isolation, it did feel like Joel was really going for, she goes, oh, everyone I know is dead. And it's like, I think you know about bloody loss. He goes, where do you go on holiday, Joel? Bloody 11 a reef? Is that where you go on holiday? Is it, Joel? Always got one up, haven't you?
11 a reef. Everyone you know's dead. Everyone I know's dead, and everyone I don't know is also dead. All right.
I saw him die. That's worse.
Yeah, and I think talking of deja vu, I think we followed directly onto the Fallout TV show as well, and we've seen like set pictures of that now.
That is your favorite, right?
So good, yeah, I love it so much. It's all I'm talking about. It's my entire personality at work. I think people are sick of me now because I'm basically in charge of the series guide. So like, we'll literally get like one like screenshot, and I'm like, oh my god, guys, got to put it on the guide, and they're like, okay.
Climb in and out of your power armor every day before and after work.
I'm like, oh my god, literally, like, they put another like, picture of the vault again, and I need to put it on the guide. I've got so many screenshots on the guide now. It's so good. I just hope it lives up to my expectations. I really do.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, the screenshots look pretty much perfect. I know we've only seen them like it's like inside a vault, isn't it? So that's pretty much all we've seen. But
inside the vault, and we've got that thing outside the Super Dupermart with the cars as well. In that one, and the power armor one as well. That's what we've got. But obviously you don't want to see too much because it'll give it away.
Yeah, that's all good.
That's I don't really know what they're gonna sort of do with it though, because like the protagonist is a ghoul. We know that much, and we don't really know what the story is or where it's even set. So I don't know if they're doing like a Fallout 3 thing or whatever. I don't know, but anyway, I'm very excited about it.
Very excited.
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows. And talking about video game to movie or TV adaptations, apparently Days Gone is getting a movie adaptation in the works from Oscar-nominated writer Sam Hewn, who Sam Hewn is currently circling it, but Sam Hewn is Sheldon Turner is the writer. He wrote stuff that apparently Up in the Air is what he wrote, which has got an Oscar nomination. I was reading what's got an Oscar nomination here. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I was like, I don't think so. He
did that line about being cancelled, didn't he?
Yeah, that's worth
the Academy probably bloody loved that. Oh, people always trying to cancel me. The Academy.
The bloody Academy. So this being obviously Days Gone is like The Walking Dead meets Sons of Anarchy. And I think if you're going to make it into a TV show, you're going to run the risk of kind of being just one of those shows, but with zombies or with motorbikes, or vice versa.
Especially with infinite Walking Dead spin-offs coming at us hard and fast.
Yeah, exactly. Walking Dead spin-offs that spoil the main show as well. You thought these characters were dead? Here's their spin-off. I don't know. Days Gone. Did anyone play that?
I'm familiar with it. I think I might have, but I don't know much about it. But it rings a bell.
I lived vicariously through Luke playing it and just looking at some of his videos.
Yeah, I think Luke played it and that kind of convinced me to play it. And it took me a while to get into it. But then, sometimes when you play a game and then suddenly you're like, I'm completely locked in with this and I'm just sold. And I think because of that, it was one of my favorites, like from, I don't know what year it came out, but I played it quite late, but still, it's great. And I'd love to see, again, if it was a series, I might be a bit like, I don't know. I'm not so sure. Because I think if one thing was kind of weak about it, it was possibly the story. It was, dragged out over 12-hour-long episodes, possibly too much.
Is it one of those things where it's actually the thing that you get out of it is your incidental moment-to-moment gameplay? Like, let's say, look, one of the most popular game franchises of all time, GTA, absolutely huge. People spend hours and hours in them. I finished a couple of GTA games. I probably couldn't tell you that much about the story. I'd probably do a little 30-second summary of the main points, but you can talk about it infinitely in terms of what you did moment to moment in the game.
Exactly. That's the thing. So potentially, I mean, I'd positive about it. I'd like to see it, but whether it would work too well, we're not so sure.
Anything can be good. You just got to see what it is, and I think that is probably, of all the things that, with Sony trying to put more stuff in, I've seen completely non-horror related. They unconfirmed maybe some type of Jack and Daxter series as well, but with them moving into this space, I think of all the things they're bringing out, Days Gone is the most at risk of just, even if it's great, running into what is a fairly saturated market.
Yeah, exactly. That is pretty much all I've got for horror news, unless anybody has seen anything in the last. Obviously, Fright Fest is coming up very soon. Lucy is going to be in attendance.
I am.
Legit. Obviously, me and Andy will just be there in spirit. But yeah, we'll be picking your brains about everything that happens there and some of the films you see as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're doing a special next week where we're going to cover as much as possible. We've got a couple of interviews lined up as well. We just released an interview with Aaron Truss, the producer of Cult of VHS, which is like a documentary about VHS collectors and stuff. So that's available on YouTube and all other audio streams as well. So check that out. Apart from that, we'll just be firing out the Fright Fest content leading up to the event and the week of the event as well.
Lots of exciting things to talk about once we finished watching them all. Our bloody square eyes, all these films we're watching.
Your eyes square again. You've been watching the Fright Festivals. Is there anything in particular you're excited about seeing, Lucy?
It's mainly fall, I'm not going to lie, because I wouldn't say that I'm very scared of heights, but then I watched the trailer and I was like, I'm scared of heights now. This is awful.
Get yourself down from there. What are you doing up there?
I'm going to see it on like this massive screen as well. It's just going to give me such anxiety, and I'm so ready for it. Honestly,
you're going to sit out the front on purpose, so you can be like,
like this, literally, just absolutely quaking. Yeah, I can't wait. And Terrifier 2 as well, because the first one is just fun. I like it.
Yeah, I think
it's fine. It's a crowd pleaser. So
I think there's a trailer for that coming out fairly soon, isn't there? Like maybe tomorrow. So. I think there's a teaser out there now, but a trailer. I've never actually seen the original, so would you recommend seeing that?
Yeah, it's worth it. Yeah, I mean, I think people have strong thoughts on it, but it's worth giving it a go. Like I say, it's very much a crowd pleaser, so I think seeing it again on the big screen is probably going to be the right place for it, if that makes sense. So looking forward to your thoughts on both of them, if you get a chance to see them both.
Cool. Climbing up a massive tall pole. That's a great concept for a film. Get it down. Yes.
Yeah, it looks awful, but like in a good way. When you like want to be sick. Oh, it looks great. I love sort of films like that where someone is stuck somewhere. I don't know why. I just think they're great.
We watched a film from Fright Fest. Oh, every time I go to say Fright Fest, I say Fright Fest. Fright Fest, Glasgow, called The Ledge, which was kind of like similar.
Oh, I've heard about
stuck on a ledge. But the horror wasn't really being stuck on a ledge. It was just horrible blokes, wasn't it?
Horrible Captain Red Flags chasing you.
Literally the worst men alive.
Literally the worst individual worst man.
Oh no.
This is the worst guy. But I would say it won my award for the festival of best delivery of a fuck you. In that one, when she writes the little note, sends it up to him. Oh, you sent me a note.
That's the only way I deliver fuck yous from now on. Excuse me, could you just come here and just take this off? Don't read it till you get home.
Put it in a little bag of crisps. Oh yes, please.
In one of those little blue sachets.
Yeah,
those little
open
salt and shake.
Bake it into a fortune cookie.
Oh my god,
this is great.
Go fuck yourself. Yeah.
What?
Do that.
Who said that? The maker of this fortune cookie. I'm gonna find him or her. That's it for horror news. What we've been watching this week, has there been anything in particular, horror or not, horror or horror adjacent, that anybody has seen this week that they'd like to mention?
God, what have I been watching? You know, when things just sort of blur.
Yeah.
What have I been watching? Oh,
I'll jump in if no one's got anything. Don't mean to do that. Let you guys have a little think. I watched Day Shift, the new sort of like action comedy vampire film on Netflix, starring Jamie Foxx and Dave Franco and Snoop Dogg for a bit. It was definitely watchable. You know, when someone's just like watchable, and when you're in the moment, you're like that, yeah. But then I think as soon as you like stand up from the sofa, you pretty much forget everything about it. It was, I think Jamie Foxx is charismatic as ever, but it just kind of felt like a sort of bit of a cliche, an amalgamation of vampire lore all rolled into one, and it felt like a lot of sort of action vampire films that you've seen, and the vampires were so like, they're proper contortionists, and I'm like, where have we seen that before? It just felt, I don't know, it felt like I Am Legend meets Underworld meets what's sort of like a vampire comedy as well. What We Do in the Shadows, I guess. It kind of felt like that. And I don't know, it felt like a film from 2010, maybe. You've even got like Dave Franco playing this kind of like comedic role. And yeah, strange, but still, all right.
I think I'll give it a go one of the days that you can have it on in the background. Yeah, obviously, once we've through all this lovely Fright Fest content,
Yeah.
I remember watching Day Shift now. I totally forgot I'd watched it because it's that forgettable, unfortunately.
You watched it as well?
I did.
See what I mean?
I did not rate it at all. I think to the point where, like I said, I'd forgot I'd even watched it, which says volumes, really. I watched it at work when the systems went down for something to do to get some coverage. Because it was like a case of, well, I've got to write something, so I'm just going to watch this movie and take some notes. And I was just, I hated it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not for me. Not for me.
Yeah, it was a weird one. But yeah, I think
it's kind of cringe, like
cringe
over the top humor. Yeah, sorry, go on.
One thing I've remembered: terrible villain. Don't know if you remember that. Terrible villain. Just like a lady vampire in a trouser suit, and she had like a bodyguard vampire. Terrible. Nothing to
Big
them.
Business, the real baddie.
Really bad.
Not even Big Business, Andy. Just terrible. Just plot. It felt like every like Hollywood vampire movie had just been put into a blender, and the disgusting, slushy smoothie that came out of it just tasted of nothing. Bland, flavorless sludge. I'm being mean about it now. You set me off, Lucy. That's what you did.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like if you got something out of it, then great. Like, because I don't think it's not trying to reinvent the wheel or anything. But I just sort of I was quite bored, and then when I was like half an hour in, and I was kind of like, what's going on? Like, it just wasn't for me.
Yeah,
I can't really describe it. I just found it quite tedious, I guess.
It was tedious, and but yeah, it was weird. Like Snoop Dogg's character was like
Big John Elliott.
It was exactly the kind of role Snoop Dogg would have. Exactly the kind of role Snoop Dogg would have played, like in a movie from like 20 years ago. So it just feels really weird. There, that's it. I think, to be fair, that's pretty much all I've watched apart from Fright Fest goodies this week. Yeah. Anybody else? Andy, have you seen anything of?
No, it's all been. I've been away for a little bit last week, and then watching Fright Fest stuff in my spare moments. So nothing else to report, to be honest. It's all in service of the big bonanza of content at the end of the month. I've been watching anything that's even remotely horror. I'll tell you what, real life horrors, Ben. I've got two for you. One, I watched the end of I know you love a Netflix documentary. I did watch fairly new Netflix documentary, I Just Killed My Dad. It's interesting. It's good.
Someone killed her dad?
Yeah, he was a bad dad, though. Don't worry.
Okay. Wrong dad.
Yeah, so he was a bad dad, and then it goes into the trial of this 17-year-old that had killed him. Interesting take. It's a fairly recent case. I think it comes to close 2021, so it's like quite a recently closed item. Interesting. Like, if you enjoy, you're making a murderers and things like that, there's some interesting insights to be had from that. And it's only I think it's 3 parts. So so that's that. the other thing I've been dealing with, then, real life horrors that we face every day. You know what's worse than a Freddy or a Jason or any of those other things? Let you have a guess.
What's worse than that? Like a real life thing as well.
Yeah, a real life thing that's worse than Freddy's or Jason's.
Like the Audi checkout staff when they fire the items at you way too fast and you've not got a bag or anything.
Even worse than that, Ben. It's the concept and experience of homelessness is what's even worse than those things.
That's my next answer.
That's one of the worst things you can have. And another reason I haven't had much time to watch more stuff is I've been spending a lot of time riding on my bicycle to fight the perils of homelessness. And not this Sunday coming, but the Sunday after, less than 2 weeks away now, me and a couple of my friends, and my wife as well, who's also my friend, thank you. We are riding from Glasgow to Edinburgh, 60 miles. It's going to hurt my legs and my bum and all those other things that get sore riding on a bike for ages. We're raising some money to tackle homelessness with the folks at Social Bite. I'll give you a little link to throw in the show notes. If you enjoy listening to this and want people not to be homeless because that's shit, then give us some support. It'll make me riding up hills in Scotland, famously quite hilly, a little bit easier.
Are you going to do a live podcast recording while you do it?
I mean, I wasn't going to, but now you've said it here.
Well, no, we don't know what your Wi-Fi connection would be like riding through the Scottish
the hills and dales between those two large cities.
Yeah.
When I'm back from that, in the first episode in it'll be our second episode in September, I'll tell you how tired I am. Thankfully, I record this sitting down.
Yeah, exactly. With an ice pack in places. We'll put the link for that in the show notes if anybody wants to fire a little donation Andy's way, because he's a good egg, he deserves this.
I won't get anything out of it apart from tired legs, Ben, but the people who like houses to live in, they'll get something out of it, so support them in this endeavor.
Right. You're right. I wasn't suggesting you're homeless by any stretch. You know what I meant.
Yeah, I'm not taking a cut out of this. It's not one of those times when someone goes, "Oh, I'm doing a skydive, sponsor me." And after you paid for my skydive,
Rolls Royce.
After you paid for my skydive, then maybe the charity will get a bit. This all goes to charity. I'm paying for myself to take my bike and ride on that. It's all right.
Yeah, but a great thing to be doing. So we'll put the link in the show notes if anyone wants to help out with that.
But you know what else, though, Ben?
Go on.
No amount of bicycle training would have stopped me from going to local cinemas and watching The Orphan First Kill. And it didn't. I've done it this week.
Just racking up the points for being just a great guy, Andy. You know what? I can't compete with this.
Oh my God. Yeah. Absolute king of segues this podcast as well, I swear to God. You've had the misery one and then you've had this. Amazing.
That was a great segue, yeah. But it's not a segue though, he's riding a bike. Terrible.
Yeah. Hey.
That'd be cheating.
Get out.
So, film of the week, which is Orphan First Kill. I wonder what her first kill was. I can't believe we're going to find out what her first kill was. Don't even think we did find out, because I'm assuming she's killed before she ends up in this psychiatric unit.
Might have just previously bodily harmed them.
Maybe, possibly. Okay, so Orphan First Kill is a 2022 psychological horror film that serves as a prequel to the 2009 film Orphan, directed by William Brent Bell. What's the story? After orchestrating a brilliant escape from an Estonian psychiatric facility, brilliant, I mean, it was all right, Esther travels to America by impersonating the missing daughter of a wealthy family. Interesting. Who have we got? Isabelle Fuhrman reprising her role from the previous film as an orphan. Julia Stiles, 10 Things I Hate About You. And Rossif Sutherland. Do I recognize this guy? I was like, who is this guy? Maybe it's his voice I recognize more than anything else. Okay, so what are we looking at? It's 6.1 on IMDb currently, 3.0 on Letterboxd, 72% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, 75% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. They're pretty high, aren't they? Choice reviews from Letterboxd users. Diana has given the movie 3 stars, and she says, "I think DNA tests don't exist in the Orphan universe." Mimo says, Julia Stiles, do you mind reciting the cool girl monologue for me? I need to check something. 2 stars. And stated this username. Someone whose name begins with T. 3 stars. Esther driving in the car was so Lana Del Rey. And I think it was. Yeah. So
while you were looking that up, Ben, the dad that you recognise, he's in Possessor.
Oh, is he? Who is he in Possessor?
In Possessor, his name is. I'm going to look down
Michael
this, and
Voss.
It's going to be like
he
Man 3.
He is
Michael. Yeah,
he's the husband of Andrea Riseborough. He's the main
he's
character.
Good at playing a husband, then I guess.
He's really good at playing a husband. This guy, he's great. He's great at it. Husband of lead. Well, kind of lead. What's the last thing Julia Stiles was in, right? Because part of me is thinking I haven't seen her for ages. Has she been anything recently on Julia Stiles?
I mostly recall her from, just missing Jason Bourne when he's disappeared behind a bus. Or he's on the office building opposite you. He's on the roof.
That's Jason Bourne. Was she in like what was that dancing film she was in as well? Save the Last Dance. I do not remember that. That was a good one. What's the last thing she was in was Jennifer Lopez documentary. I'm guessing as herself.
Hustlers, Silver Linings Playbook.
Okay. So she's still knocking them out. And I guess a very unexpected turn for her after, if you saw the trailers for this, there is a twist, and of course we will be spoiling that twist. So if you haven't watched this film and you're a bit worried about finding out too much about it,
go into details.
Yeah, obviously we covered the film from 2009 back in February of this year, so it's all pretty fresh in our heads, even though I forgot the ending. So how on earth does this one compare? Was everybody happy with this prequel?
Lisa, you go. I know you've got strong feelings.
I loved it, honestly. I thought it was cool. And I think I actually tweeted in a probably semi-delirious state that I actually thought it was better than the first one, which everyone's probably like, you're wrong. But I really enjoyed it, yeah. I mean, I'm probably in the minority, but I'm happy to be here. So.
Well, I don't know. Like
film. It's a great film.
That Rotten Tomatoes score seemed pretty high for critics and audiences.
Yeah, the critic one was quite surprising. I think obviously IMDb is to be expected. Like it's usually in the range of like 5 and 6, isn't it? Yeah, but it is high for the tomato meter because critics are brutal. So
yeah,
I'm glad they enjoyed it.
I don't know, Andy. How did you feel about it?
You know what? We're probably on a downwards on a scale on this one, aren't we, Ben? So yeah, I liked it. I really thought the twist was clever. I thought it was something I didn't expect from this movie. It delivered more narratively than I was expecting was going to happen. And actually, with the turn we get at the halfway point, it kind of answers a lot of the criticisms that I was sat being a smart ass about in the first half of it, saying like, how would you not do this? Why haven't you done that? And it answers a lot of those things with the twist that it brings in. It's by no means perfect. I think they are challenged by the fact that they fairly definitively kill Esther at the end of the first movie. I think had they not painted themselves into such a corner with that one, a sequel would have just been fine. I think a sequel would have been easier to pull off, and you could have still done interesting things with it. You could have maybe had some of these interesting things without the CGI troubles that it's driven by the fact that because of the linear nature of time, the actor that plays Esther is now a good 10 years older than she was when she did this first one. So the time makes it a little bit difficult and makes the CGI a little bit, probably a large portion of the budget, and it's impossible to get it perfect. If you can overlook those things and it doesn't put you take you out of it that occasionally Esther looks a bit shiny when they're trying to make her look like a little kid, then it actually works really well. That I like a lot of this movie. And then we come to you, Ben.
I mean, I completely respect the fact that there was a twist, and it was a twist on the original plot, which took it in a different direction. It could have easily taken it in. One of the problems I had with it initially was like, oh, this is kind of like just playing out the same as the first one, you know. She's trying to seduce the dad, you know, she's having a bit of a problem with the mum, and oh no, they're gonna find out there's a police officer who's trying to dig. And I was like, it's the same, and it's like a carbon copy. It's doing my head in. So all respect to it that there was a different take on the twist, and he took it in a completely different direction. Whether that completely worked for me, I don't quite know. There was something about it that didn't quite stick for me, because I think even though it answered some questions, it opened a lot of new questions for me, where I'm like, but why didn't they just, and what about so I was a bit like that initially. And this is one thing that annoys me, not just in horror, but in movies in general, and even TV shows, is prequels that don't take the time for character development. So essentially, this is a prequel. This is the orphan's first kill. We're gonna find out why she's as messed up as she is. But this film kicks off, and she is the same. She is exactly the same character as she was in the first movie. So there's no room for character development. We don't find out what turned her this way. It starts off, she's already in an institute, having committed various crimes. And then by the time the film starts, it just puts her in the same situation as she was in the first film. I want to see Esther out and about in the world, doing mad stuff, being an orphan, seducing... I don't know.
Seducing dads left, right, and centre.
Seducing paedophiles and killing them. Just like bouncing from family, maybe not even family, but you know, from place to place, causing havoc. The fact that she ends up in exactly the same situation, regardless of how it goes for her in terms of she's misjudged this situation greatly. Because I understand that the plot of her turning up as a missing kid has actually happened in real life. Like that actually happens. People do turn up as, I'm your missing kid. I'm your new, can you be my new dad? That exists, that happens. However, I don't know, something about this, the whole prequel thing of, you know, I've mentioned it time and time again. The whole prequel reminds me of Gotham, where it's like, you want to see what these characters were like, the Riddler and the Penguin and Poison Ivy back in the day? Yeah, I do. Well, what made them the way they are? Well, here they are, and they're the same character but young.
I mean, no wonder. I mean, this isn't the Gotham Hangout, but I did wonder that no wonder Batman is so physically superior to a lot of his villains and beats them all up all the time. He's 20 years younger than all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Man in his prime.
Did you see the fact that the movie's even called Orphan First Kill, and then the first kill she commits in this movie was kind of just, I don't know. I kind of wanted it to be like, let's build to this first kill. The movie's called First Kill. Let's make it like she's never killed anyone before. And then the person she...
Aren't we meant to assume that she has killed someone before? Because you don't end up in a mental institution forever because you've got a growth disease and you've done a burglary.
That's the thing. And
you've done a burglary, you've done a fairly petty crime, but you have got a genetic disorder. So insane asylum forever?
Yeah, in the cell, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of, now you've mentioned it, I'm kind of torn. Like, would I want to see an origin story, or would I want to just see, you know, pre the Coolmans, I guess? I don't know. Like, would an origin story be a bit naff, do you think? Like, we've seen it a million times before.
Yeah. This is the thing, isn't it?
It's we know she's unhinged. Do we need to see it? I mean, that's kind of an open question, but
that almost feels like that's the point of a prequel, though, isn't it? Like, a prequel is the same character but younger. But like, I want something. I want some. And the thing is, there was some character development in this. Like, I don't know about character development, but skill development. Her skill tree, UV painting. At least that got an origin.
UV painting this time. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess with this one, it's not like The Nun. I know this is where the origin of this disturbance came to you, Ben, isn't it? Where the Nun first came out, and the Nun original just shows, it was always a ghost.
That's a good example, yeah.
But the with the Orphan, I guess, where would you take it originally? Would it start on her 11th birthday, and someone says, "Tell you what, you hadn't aged a day since last year." She's like, "Fuck, I haven't." And then it goes through several years. All right, 15 now. I imagine I've grown. Like, it's just them with a little pencil marking on. You've not grown any. You're still 10. You're still magically 10.
I don't know. I'm just thinking like something. We get a little bit of an idea of her past. Then she ends up in a mental institution for something. But then we build towards this first kill, which sets her on this path. So maybe she's unhinged, yeah, but she's not murdered anyone, she's not killed anyone yet. And then we build to this first. If it wasn't in the title, I wouldn't have such a problem with it. The fact it's in the title makes me think, who's she gonna kill then as her first kill?
Would you have had it that you take out the institution piece and just have her as a robber going from place to place to place? Think, I'm sick of robbing here in Estonia. I'm gonna go to America where I can do some big robbing, like the Home Alone house, things like that. And
I'm gonna do an Ocean's 11 type heist. Gets a load of other orphans together.
One day she's on Estonian Google looking up missing children who I look a bit like. It's like, I look like this one.
Bloody hell, I look exactly the same as this one. That's lucky.
I put a beret on and just find myself in a park where the second reaction of an Estonian policeman after saying, hello, are you lost, in Estonian is to go, better try English. Why would that occur to you? Oh, that kid hasn't that disturbed kid hasn't responded to me. I better try English, see if that works.
I think the last point I'll make before, I don't want to sound too negative, and I completely understand that it's an enjoyable sequel, prequel, using a lot of the same tropes from the original. I understand that. Something about it, though, I think because of the original is so effective, especially in terms of that twist and the setting up of that twist. When it's all here, all laid out again for you to see, it's like you've got all the pieces of this effective thriller / horror. When it's all laid out again, it feels quite silly. I don't know, like her dressed in pigtails with a little beret on. I was just like, oh, come on, for God's sake. She looks 35. She looks tiny, but 35.
Yeah, I don't know. I just do think like maybe we're supposed to get a bit of a laugh out of it as the audience who know fine well who she is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, she's at it again. But we're kind of taking the piss out of how the fact that everybody will just accept her in and be like, she must be this missing child. Like you were saying about no DNA evidence. Like, oh yeah, take her, no problem.
I'll tell you what though.
A bit daft, but
I'll tell you what though. If a kid turns up right and she misremembers from 6 years ago what breed of bird was in my office, then I'll
immediately suspicious.
Then I'll be suspicious.
Literally.
Parakeets. All parakeets are.
Like, it's totally fine that like she forgot that like grandma was dead, but like she forgets the bird, and they're like, wait, no.
Hang on a minute. What was your favorite flavor of crisps? Salt and vinegar? Nope, it was cheese and onion. Yeah. I don't believe that you're Esther.
You're not Esther. You don't know.
Actually, when you were a kid, you used to mispronounce it as vinegar. So now I know you're a fake.
No, you're an absolute fake.
And also that thing with the grandma, that's a bloody swizz on Julia Stiles' fault. She said, present tense, she's been so good to us.
Oh yeah, Julia Stiles.
And then when she goes, yeah, she's great. I was bloody like, she's dead. She's been so good to us from heaven. That's what I meant. Julia Stiles.
Julia Stiles. But yeah, I think when this twist is introduced, I was kind of glad. It took a weight off my shoulders in terms of like me suspending my disbelief.
Yeah, it really brings a lot. I think that really ups the gear of the entire film. We'll get to it when we get to it, I guess. But it went from being, I was having a fine time. I wasn't sitting there like you, Ben, saying, oh, it's a real nun situation. I'm furious. But when that happened, I was like,
ooh, yeah.
Again, that might just be down to me and my problem with prequels and the relationship I have with prequels and lack of patience.
I'd also got myself a Tango Ice Blast, so I was having a great time.
Did you get a brain freeze?
I hate them, but yeah.
That was all right.
Okay.
There's a secret that you just don't let it sit on the roof of your mouth, Ben. That's how you can avoid a brain freeze.
Yeah. So who have we got? Isabelle Fuhrman is Esther Albright / Lena Klammer. Lena Klammer is her actual name.
That is an Eastern European criminal name. Clamor.
Lena Clamor.
Clamor and the Slammer.
Oh, and she's clamoring after all of your jewelry and stuff. She's a robber. She is that is a burglar's name.
She's a kleptomaniac. So yeah, so and then it's the Albright family. So Julia Stiles, Rossif Sutherland, the young kid as well, Matthew Finlan. Hiro Kanagawa is Inspector Donnan. Was there an inspector, like a police officer, or was it like a welfare officer who was looking?
It's a nice nun in the first one. She gets hammered. She
gets hammered to death. Yeah, and yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of the main cast, isn't it? There's some doctors and quite a small cast. Yeah. The de-aging thing is a bit, I know we mentioned it already, but it's a bit off. I don't know. It feels a bit like her head's been stuck on with and I think that's just the way of the technology, you know. It's not like Disney have got the access to unbelievable amounts of budget to make the de-aging work, and it always looks a bit rubbery and shiny. But so this is just
it's just not quite there just yet. I think it's definitely something you have to overlook, and it's nothing to do with the production of this movie. It's just a little bit uncanny when these things happen.
Yeah.
Set more of the film at night time, because I think it's particularly when it's daylight shots that it's more difficult to pull off.
Yeah, exactly. So it starts off in January 2007, which is, I guess, the original set in 2009 when it was released, right? So it's 2 years before the orphan is an orphan. No. Well, yeah, because that's pretty much it, isn't it? Because she's not, she like becomes the orphan at the end. Oh, you're an orphan, I can't believe it. But in this one, she's not an orphan. She's
just the prisoner.
She's a missing child.
A missing child. So yeah, there's a lot of grubby, like when she like seduces the guard in order to escape.
Yeah, so we start with the art teacher just popping in, and the most with the combination of the most rigorous and then the most lax security protocols ever. So the art teacher comes, and the security guard is really unfriendly. He goes, "Whack your arms up," gives her a search, and then the head doctor or the head prisonman comes along and says, "Oh yeah, so you're going to be teaching the inmates art. It's real good. Come and have a look here." And then an alarm goes off, and he goes, "Right, this is very dangerous. People haven't followed the protocols. Please wait in this locked room that we haven't properly checked." Okay.
Bye.
And then you'll never guess who's in there. It's only Lena, the not yet orphan. And I thought for a second she's going to do her first kill right away. She's got a pencil, getting ready to do some stabbing, but then all the other people come in. She calms down. The art teacher's like, "Oh, I was asking if that was I was just asking if she was a little kid." Goes, "Oh, don't do that. She hates being mistaken as a kid, even though she looks like and dresses like one, and does nothing to really."
Do you ever thought about, like, I don't know, wearing some clothes that make you look a bit more like an adult? No, I'll have these pigtails for one.
Yeah, have a normal haircut and read the Financial Times. Smoke a pipe. Do something that like makes you look more like an adult. But actually what she's doing is sitting in a classroom doing some colouring with crayons. And she sketches the art teacher straight away. So we know already she's put a lot of points into art already. She's already leveled that up quite highly. And then we go to them just working together for a few minutes in the school. She appears to have trained another inmate like a dog.
Oh yeah.
What's that about? Like she kind of
just goes. She does that, and you're like, okay.
Stick 'em. Why would you have someone like that about? Like just knocking about in the same room as you. She might try and murder you at any second, but she's all right most of the time.
That's just a fun quirk, you know.
If I say this phrase to her and no one else notices this, like if I basically say, "You want a sweetie," she goes mad and attacks people, and then I say something else and I throw a sweet to her. Okay, we won't look into that, but that's what she's done. And this basically is this is Pavlov's lunatic. to basically she will trigger her later on as part of her like Solid Snake escape plan that she goes through in a minute.
Yeah, why does she suddenly decide she wants to escape? Like, is there any reason in particular? Is it because of the art therapist?
I guess she doesn't like being in prison. I've never been, Ben, but I bet it's horrid.
Yeah, but I don't know. Probably best place for her, innit? Otherwise going around being an orphan.
Yeah. Unfortunately, CRB checks are not what they are. CRB and background checks are not what they are in some places in Estonian prisons. They've only gone and done. And I had a massive pedo to watch over the one inmate, probably in the entire Estonian mental hospital system, that looks like a little girl.
Yeah, not quite right, is it? No. I think when in any description of a plot, when it says the childlike leader seduces the guard. Oh yeah, seduces the guard. Sick. But she smashes his skull to bits.
Yeah, she tempts him into the room. She goes, "Oh, have you got me those many ribbons have come from Amazon? Brilliant. Oh, but I can't tie them up myself." So he puts them on and goes, "Oh, I'd like to do something for you. Do you want to come in?" And he's like, "Cool, yes, please. Even though I know you're a dangerous escape risk, me being a big old perv has overridden that survival instinct." And he goes in and she stands on a chair. And apparently the thing he really wanted was to have his hair kind of caressed for a bit. Then she smashes his head in.
How strong is she, right? How strong is she? Okay.
Real strong.
I reckon if I was stood there with anybody, world's strongest woman, if she smashed my head once, I reckon I'd be like, "Get off! Stop it! Stop smashing my head against the thing." But he kind of just...
You're a child.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, push her off her chair, for God's sake.
I think the world's strongest woman could probably smash your head in one, but someone with the body of a 10-year-old might struggle.
Yeah, someone with the body, like, what kind of strength are we supposed to believe she's got? Like, I don't know. She's not supernatural in any way. She's just a little lady.
Maybe this is one of the things.
She could be in the third one.
Maybe that's the twist. Yeah, they go.
Plot twist.
She's put all of her other points that she hasn't put into art skills into stealth, and she does like ×8 surprise attack damage.
Yeah.
She's got like ridiculous. She's like got literally 100% critical chance. It's gonna be a big hit if you're not suspecting it. So she smashes his head to custard on the wall.
Can I just understand something before I go ahead? When she was playing the orphan in the film Orphan 2009, she was a kid, right? She was a kid, an actual kid, and they just went in the story. She's a grown woman. Yeah.
Right, let me tell you what year she was born.
She was born in. I've got it right here. Sorry. Before you Google. 1997. So she's 25 years old. So in 2009, she would have been 12. So she's actually a kid playing someone who looked like a kid. It just doesn't translate well, does it? Like, oh, do you know that woman who played the orphan when she was 12? Yeah, she's grown up now. She's 25. Does she still look like a kid? Not at all. Get her in this film and we'll do a little bit of de-aging on her.
What you needed on this film was, and I don't want to take it away from our actual star of the film. I think she's very good at this role. What you need is a Fanning family where you've got two sisters that look quite similar but are about 10 years different in age.
Yeah, absolutely great. Yeah, or just some sort of recasting. Oh, I know, like obviously she's iconic for that role, and understandably so. But I don't know. I never felt fully locked in to this film because of that. I don't know. It was very strange. So what
we will take it. Maybe, Ben, maybe this is the sexist world we live in coming up again, because there are blokes playing teenagers in 90210 for generations that are well into their 30s and 40s. Yeah. John Travolta was 58 when he was in Grease.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's more difficult because this is an adult playing a little kid. It's tough.
Yeah, and we're all supposed to just go, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, who's that? What?
Although in reality, so they say that the character's meant to be 30, right? She's in her 30s at the very least.
31.
I mean, so that's older than the actor. So maybe actually that's perfect, and it's, you know, we, an educated audience, should see, you know, she looks 30. And it's just the people in the film that are stupid. Maybe they shouldn't have de-aged her at all. And then at the end of this film, she could have gone, oh, and I've practiced making myself look younger. I reckon next time you see me, I'll have really got this down.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It'd be like me just waltzing into someone, have one of those little hats with a propeller on it.
Big lollipop.
and someone going, is it 9 years old? And I'll go, yeah.
So I try that every week when I try and get on the bus, Ben. Child ticket, please, mate.
Yeah. Child ticket, please. Where are you going? Just see my dad. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, she escapes using her solid snake escaping powers.
And the complete negligence of that other member of staff. Oh, that door's opened. I won't look behind it. I'll just go in.
It's all pretty negligent, isn't it? It's like, I feel like I could escape from there, and I'm pretty much incompetent. So
that guard gets bashed.
What kind of facility is this? Like, honestly, she's supposed to be like, oh, this maximum security, like this terrible person, and they're just like sort of just vibing. It's like, no, honestly, like, it's
really, if it turns out after that she's got her Pavlov's trained lunatic to bash that other guard in with a thing that the main guy should have come out and gone, you do realize you're here voluntarily? She goes, oh, didn't realize that. Sorry, bye. Your sentence for burgling people has been served. And this is why the first skill bit is that, because the warden does explain to the art tutor exactly who Lena is, and she's been doing this for years, and she usually just robs them. And he goes, but then this happened, and he shows her some photos of what just looks like a blood stain.
This was good though, because I was glad, I was happy that initially in the scene they said, look, she's a grown woman and she's posing as a kid, and she does pose as a kid. I'm glad they did that. I'm glad they didn't try to, like, you know, sometimes films that are prequels and sequels try to assume that there might be an entirely new audience seeing this for the first time, so they try
and get that twist again.
Yeah, and I'm glad they didn't. I thought that showed that they have respect for its audience. So points for that.
Yeah.
So she gets out. The art teacher, having had a real bad first day, is about to leave her job. This was probably one of the bits that really got to me in this early stage. The art teacher's about to go. She puts the window screen wipers on, and Esther's there like, shh. And then I wasn't sure if there'd been a strange cut here or not, because what seems to happen is that she gets out of the car, goes in, and goes, bloody Esther's escaped. He goes, yeah, no, guard's dead there. He goes, oh, I still quit though. All right, I'm going to go home. And then she goes out to the car.
Well, she shush her. There's like a storm raging around you.
Yeah. At what point did she not assume that Esther had got into it? I thought that Esther would have kidnapped her and have held her hostage. But no, what happened was she appears to have given her a mild spooking. The art teacher has assumed Esther has just gone, not Esther, Lena Clammer has just gone, and then thought, I won't check the boot of my car in case that lunatic that I'd literally just walked away and left my car unlocked near has hidden in my car. What I'll do is I'll drive to my house. And then when the boot of my car opens after I pulled up at my house, apparently it's a boot that can be opened from the inside, I'll leave the door of my house unlocked while I go and ineffectively look at the car, and then get tire ironed in the head.
Yeah. And then luckily on my laptop, no, wait.
I've got the missing children database open.
I've got the missing children database who kind of look like Lena open.
I also haven't got a password or anything on my devices, so you can just help yourself. Welcome.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of this is the thing, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
the whole setup for this movie is, it does feel a bit rushed, a bit lazy, and a lot of the times with films I can kind of look past that I'm fine to look past those things. But I don't know, something about this, I wasn't allowing it to.
No, I do get you. I feel like from the filmmaker's point of view, the story they wanted to tell is everything they deliver after she arrives in America shortly. I feel what they wanted to do was get this bit out of the way quickly and just get to the story that they really had. And this is why there are some gaps in this bit. And these bits that we've covered here in Estonia they aren't able to be fixed with the twists that we see later in the story, because all of those gaps are filled from when we meet the family. But this stuff about the escape,
it feels like the gaps
is harder.
Sorry, Andy. It just feels like the gaps, the plot holes that appear are kind of just like stuffed with what's like filling, but has got no structural integrity. Candy floss, okay? Put a load of candy floss in there, right? Yeah, I've filled the hole, haven't I? Oh yeah, but you could just pull that out. Like, where's she been all this time? She don't want to talk about it. I mean, I understand that in terms of like trauma and experiences like that. Those things are common, but I don't know. It just didn't quite.
You also had ages to make this up. You just say, "Oh, Russia's massive. It was lost."
Russia's massive, and it was pretty mental there, to be honest. Yeah.
And also famously, because I did wonder why, like, I know, politically and history and wise, but it's never really explained why she's found in Estonia and then goes to Russia for her mom to pick her up.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Pretty sure they have airports in Estonia. I've never been.
That I don't know.
Yeah. So obviously, what she does is she finds the details of a lost girl in America, and what does she do? She
gets bloody fingerprints all over the laptop and piano. Goes, having decided on her plan, chips off downstairs, sees the art teacher still kind of struggling for breath, goes, I'll tell you what, it only usually takes one of these, then gives her another couple of bashes with a tire iron.
Smush.
And then goes and sits on a swing till the policeman comes over and says in Estonian, "Hello, little girl, are you lost?" Doesn't respond, so goes, "Try English. Hello, are you lost? I'm a policeman." She goes, "Yeah, I am lost, actually. Where are you, mum and dad?" "America." He goes, "Right. Let's send you to Russia to get picked up."
And that's it, pretty much. And then how does... So then we go to... It's Connecticut, I think, is set, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you got Trisha Albright, who's obviously played by Julia Stiles, and her husband Alan, who's like an artist. And their daughter's been missing for a while. They've kind of come to terms with the disappearance of it, but then does like that inspector guy just turn up and say,
"Yeah,
never guess who we find."
Yeah, it's like, "Oh, we found her." They just like literally come out of like watching their other son fence, and then he's just there like, "Surprise!"
Gunner.
Doing a little bit of fencing.
Not Gunner, honestly. The second you see Gunner, you're like, listen, he's going to be wrong. And he is wrong.
Listen,
you
Gunner.
Just know.
Congratulations, Gunner, on making that piece of shit kid from the first one look like a real nice little dude.
Literally.
When's the last time we had a fencing scene in a movie as well? Die Another Day with Madonna.
Very, very much enjoyed that fencing scene. It was good.
Yeah, I was like,
as soon as it happens, I was like, "Oh, hang on, someone's getting fenced in this movie."
Someone's getting fenced later on, definitely.
Oh, yeah,
someone's about to get fenced. I wager maybe Gunner. Ironically, killed by the sword.
It's such a stupid name as well. I'm sorry, no offense to Gunners out here, but like, just the character name. It's like, why have you called him that? Like,
just a bit of a douche name, isn't it? Just like, oh,
literally.
What's your name? Gunner. Okay, all right.
Maybe his parents love Arsenal.
They love him.
That would have been a good twist.
Gunner.
We're actually Arsenal fans. Like, oh my god.
Oh my
Excellent
god, yeah.
twist.
London Red. They're having a lovely time watching Gunner do some fencing, but they're not having such a lovely time about their daughter having been kidnapped years ago. So when the policeman turns up, the relationship's probably a bit strained because it feels like a little bit of exposition here. They go and do that, and then they go, oh, well, I'm going to go and play my friends tonight. He goes, oh, you knew it was family time. Knew it was family time because I'm still real sad about it. And then Julia Stiles immediately throws in, well, I know you're sad that our daughter's been kidnapped, but you've got to get over it. I need you to be present for all of my important philanthropy work that I've got coming up because I'm a business mover and a shaker. And the policeman turns up and goes, oh, looks expectantly, and they run over to get some news. And then off camera, I guess it's decided that the husband won't go to be reunited because Russia is a very long flight. Yeah, just one of us will go over for this.
Is that what it is? And they like, we can only afford one plane ticket, I'm afraid.
Even though we're demonstrably rich, maybe they're worried about the carbon footprint.
Or maybe the dad was just doing all the work while Julia Stiles is doing all this philanthropy shit.
I've got some art to finish. It's real difficult because I have to paint on it in like an ultraviolet layer as well. So actually, every painting is double the work.
Complex.
Double the work, yeah. Oh god,
2 paintings for the price of 1. Yeah.
Yeah. So Trisha goes to where'd she go?
Russia, apparently.
American embassy in Moscow, where she's reunited with Esther. Pretty much no questions asked, even though, and there's not even a moment, like a little look on her face. I know we get all that in the twist, but there's not even a little look on her face like, I know you're not Esther, or anything like that. She's like, oh, I'm so glad to see you. And also, have you noticed something? When Esther's coming home, no one can stand to be in her company. Because Trisha is like puts her earphones in when she's on the plane. Gunnar puts his headphones in when they're in the car. It's like just been reunited with your missing daughter after.
I haven't seen her for 6 years. You'd have stuff to catch up on.
I can't miss this podcast. I've got to be honest.
They're not even sat next to each other. So basically, you've got the aisles, and then she's on one aisle and she's on the other. It's like you would sit next to your daughter, apparently, wouldn't you? Like, what are you doing? It's so bizarre. Yeah.
And then obviously there's the grandmother comment where she mentions grandmother, and then she goes, "No, she's dead." Idiot. And then she goes into the toilet, and that's that shot behind you, which is, again, that shot is creepy, but not because of the context of it or because of anything other than the de-aging. It just looks weird. The more I'm looking at it, the more it's uncanny valley. Setting me off.
And she smuggles vodka into the toilet as well. So she goes in, she necks this vodka, and then has an absolute like meltdown because she got something wrong.
Eastern European, they've gone. What would she drink?
She just fucking necks it as well. It's like, what? Yeah.
She goes and gets a little miniature by going. Yeah, she got a 50-50 chance. She goes to the wrong end of the plane and goes to the toilet back here. And while the stewardess is going, no, it's just there. She goes, oh, just grab a couple of these.
She didn't want to pay the minibar prices, you know. Jesus.
It's a very small plane. Are they on a private jet?
I think so, yeah. It seems that way.
They're not concerned about their carbon footprint at all.
Not at all.
Not for a second.
Yeah, little private jet there, but she slams a couple of vodkas and then, or just the one, and then has to sit down to get through the rest of the flight. The dad and Gunnar dutifully waiting at the airport.
Yep.
The family's all back. The family's all back together.
Family's all back together, and obviously the dad gives her a nice big hug. But then after that, I think Gunnar doesn't hug her. It's like, oh, you can say, "Oh, nice to see you." Give her a hug. Yeah.
Yeah. Gunnar's being shady. Mm-hmm.
Gunnar's being incredibly shady. Yeah.
Real piece of work about. Apparently, for US film writers, brothers not welcoming of either newly adopted or historically missing sisters. Not real unwelcoming.
Yeah, and even here it's a bit odd, isn't it? Like, I don't know, something's not quite right. I mean, we know what's not quite right, but something else is kind of bubbling under the surface. And then They say, oh, the suspicions grow after she forgets the death of her grandmother and has become good at painting. You become good at anything in like 6 years, pretty much, couldn't you? Is it 6 years?
Yeah, and they do say like the the person at the embassy goes, now 6 years is a lot of time in the development of a child, so she may look and sound different.
Yeah, she may look slightly animated. I don't know if you've noticed, but she looks like a Pixar character a little bit.
She may look a little bit Final Fantasy Spirits Within on occasion, very briefly.
She might be shit at a painting. She might play the piano like Elton John. She's good at all that stuff. Yeah, so now we get like pretty much all the standard stuff. This is where it kind of, and it probably did do it on purpose, knowing the way the plot goes, but it did slot into like familiar territory if you've seen Orphan, which is mum starts to become a little bit suspicious. Brother's kind of like a bit standoffish, kind of keeping her at an arm's length. Not all
the
that
dad.
Yeah, she dresses silly.
Loves the dad. And these
the dad.
I mean, this dad is a much better dad than John Coleman, though. Can we just say that? Because John Coleman was the bane of my life. I hate him.
Not John Coleman.
I love this dad. I think he's great.
Yeah, this dad at least has got a bit of like, in terms of, we understand his pain and, you know, the fact that he's not been the same since Esther vanished and his heart's not been in it, and it's like a piece of him's been missing, and now he's kind of found that, so we kind of feel that pain, feel that trauma, which makes us kind of feel bad for him.
I do feel bad for the dad. I'd have just liked it to work out.
Same, actually, which is really fucked up, but yeah, would have been nice.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd feel about them getting together.
No,
but like
not like that.
No,
maybe,
I mean, it's all...
if through the course of the movie they could have invented a way for just to age normally from this point, could have worked out. Could have just been a nice if she's got a bang on the head and gone, oh bloody hell, I don't remember anything, because you're Esther, my kid. So I am. Just had a normal...
I am, and then end.
Yeah, they all lived happily ever after.
She could have got away with a lot more by like faking amnesia, right? She could have got away with everything. She could have just gone, can't remember any of this stuff.
Been like that canoe man.
Who you are.
Oh yeah, that was mad.
Yeah, she could. Yeah, amnesia would have worked it out.
So, moved it next door.
Yeah, I don't remember. I've had a real bad time actually. I've been abducted and all that stuff, so I don't remember you or my nan or the parrot. Thanks.
Oh, the parrot! What a bizarre detail to include.
I love it.
It's just very, very strange.
Before we get to see the parrot, though, we get the classic. We've left your room exactly how you left it 6 years ago, decorated as if it's from the 1950s.
We left your room exactly the same, like an elderly woman lived there.
Like we haven't opened the curtains, we haven't dusted, we haven't done anything. We just left it.
We've just left your classic record player, your, of course,
porcelain dollies.
Like porcelain dollies, and your LP player with "That's the Story of Love" LP on it. You know, the only song you have, not a tablet in sight. In 2000, so okay, so if it's 2007, so she will have gone missing apparently in 2003.
Yeah.
2003, pre-iPhone.
Is it 4 years or 6 years she's been gone? 4. I forgot. At least the mobile phones are kind of like look about right, don't they?
Yeah.
Whoever's like,
she wouldn't have one. Should be a little kid, but she might have had a tape deck or a lovely boom box with a CD player in it.
GameCube.
Yeah.
She might have had a GameCube. Yeah, it's a bit strange. You've got a nice little doll's house now.
Dreamcast that got something on.
A doll's house is like a mainstay of like modern horror now, isn't it? It's like if someone's got a doll's house, then this is definitely a horror movie.
Got to have a secret compartment to hide things in. They got one of them.
Yeah. What is she hiding there? Vodka. Little miniature vodka.
No, little diary.
Oh yeah. But it's actually reading a little missing girl's diary. I kept hoping that the missing girl would come back.
Oh, original Esther.
That would have been cool.
Original Esther, yeah. Esther, you've been found. You're just going to be reunited with your family. Really sorry to say, but they're all dead. Oh yeah, how'd that happen?
Orphan.
Someone impersonated you.
What's her last name again? Lena the Grabber.
Clamor.
Lena Clamor.
Lena Grabber.
Lena Clamor has burned up your family in a fire. No, before, I would have liked original Esther to have come back.
Would have been cool.
I love it if the policeman had turned up again. Tell you what, you spend 6 years looking for a missing kid. 2 come along at once.
Wow. Do you want to
find them both?
And I'd want the same actor to play original Esther, and to it be, no, ask a question that only the real Esther would know. One was like, no, you're gonna have to shoot us both. Only the real Esther would have said that. That isn't what happens. Instead, they go to they go and see a psychologist. And this is where we get the parrot moment.
Is it a parrot, or is it a parakeet, or is it a macaw? What is it?
Well, Ben, as any zoologist knows, all macaws are parrots, but not all parrots are fucking macaws.
Exactly. You could line up 10 birds and try to make me identify which one was a parrot, which was a macaw, even if I hadn't been in Estonia for the last 6 years, and I'd still be like, I don't know, really. I can't remember. I thought that when she mentioned the parrot, I thought she was going to turn around and say something along the lines of, I didn't even have that bird before. That would have made more sense, wouldn't it? She said she remembered the bird, but I didn't even have it when she was here last. Dum dum dum.
Liar. Yeah, literally.
Yeah, but instead she goes, my bird was fucking massive and orange. I thought, also parrots live for bloody ages, and macaws live to like 90. Like, there's a good chance that it could, unless that parrot was already like 86 when she was kidnapped.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So that's how she's caught her up. But she goes, there's a little bit of suspicion raised. The doctor comes out and says, Do you fancy coming in for a chat with us, Julia Stiles? And Esther, she's left out in the corridor in the waiting room with another little boy. This little boy's got big rat energy, though. He's looking suspicious the whole time.
He's a little rat. What do you think he's doing in that place? He's on
grass. He's going to a psychologist because he's had too many stitches for being a snitch this whole time. So she goes into the office, absolutely plays a blinder on the receptionist, goes in all innocent. Oh, can I have a look at your Ribena, please? Oh, I've spilt it on the carpet. The cream rug in your expensive US pediatrician's office. She runs off to get the vanish, and Esther goes in and presses the intercom and hears the psychologist slagging her off about not knowing the difference between different parrots, and she is already livid. Fucking, I think I'm Chris fucking Packham. All about the different birds, do I?
I love how easily accessible that button is as well. Like literally, like you would have thought that you can't really hear into people's psychology sessions, but you just press a button and it's like, oh, I can hear now. Get in, like I can hear everything.
I'll just press the eavesdropping button.
Yeah, literally, just get out of my way. I want to press this button. It's so stupid.
And then while she's doing it, listening for clues, that little rat looks around the corner again. She's like, you son of a bitch. And then she basically makes a big commotion. She stops the conversation, and he goes, oh, and he comes and says, oh, this little boy pushed me over and ripped my dress. And then everyone's like, piece of shit. I'd love a post-credit scene in this movie to be like a proper like Batman Arkham Asylum, and he is in there. And he's become the orphan too, because he was sectioned for a crime he didn't commit. The eavesdropper, the rat king, this little kid.
Bless him.
Bless him. He's a little.
I feel so bad for him.
Nah, he deserves
it. An absolute. Oh wow.
What's he doing though? None of his business. Two wrongs don't make a right, kid. She's eavesdropping on this thing. You try and get in on this action, I'm going to bloody eavesdrop on her, do some telling. No.
Honestly.
Little rat kid. He's busted.
You hate him, I love it.
Poking his little head around the corner. Who does he think he is? But yeah, the button is way too accessible. So like walk around the corner, press the button, listen in. It's kind of nuts, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. I'm sorry, it's great. It's part of why I love it. Like the ridiculousness is kind of why I love it so much. I can't really explain why. I just love like taking the piss out of it. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's so good to this because several times in this movie as well, the dad who is most upset that she got kidnapped for several years does suggest that she goes somewhere on her own. Later on, we're at the train station. He goes, "Do you just want to wander around the train station on your own? We're going to get some coffees." Oh, go on then. Well, not that you were famously kidnapped and I've only had you back a fortnight.
You go into this busy public place and go for a wander. Why not?
Oh yeah. I tell you what. I'm just going to turn my back for a minute at this shopping centre. If you see anyone selling balloons, do feel free to run off after them. I'll be just be around.
Oh God, from a Heavy Rain vibes.
Yeah, I was going to say Heavy Rain, Jason.
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 Bloody love balloons, I do. You idiot. Jason.
Before you know it, drowned in a storm drain.
Oh my God. Amazing.
That's if you did choose the right outcome.
Oh my God, imagine it multiple choice Orphan. Oh my God. I would play that. I would play the shit out of that.
Just admit you're an orphan. No, just admit you're Estonian.
Doubt.
Go proper like Telltale games with it. Like Esther will remember this.
Literally.
Esther will remember this.
Oh my God! Someone commission this game, please.
The rat kid will remember this.
Yeah, rat kid.
And he comes back later on.
What will you do? Eavesdrop, stab with pencil. Yeah.
Okay.
So they go back home. Is this where we get the first sort of bonding scene with, well, I guess both parties? She does a bit of painting. This is where Esther is going to require her skill for not infrared, UV painting.
Yeah, skill for UV painting, where they just go. Yeah, I mean, this was a thing that, like, we didn't really need to know what the origins of it were, but I kind of liked it. You know, I thought it was okay. So she likes doing a bit of UV because she bonded with this fake dad over it, and she probably just thought, yeah, it's pretty good. I'm gonna do loads of really sexualized paintings of another dad I have eventually, using this UV paint to the best of its abilities. Yeah. Expensive.
Still don't know where she buys it from. I would have liked to seen in this one where she takes a big stockpile of the UV paint and goes, "Can I bring this with me to the orphanage?" Suppose so.
Yeah, can I bring this with me? Why? Oh, I just love it. I absolutely love it.
Like, sure thing, honey. Let's go.
And they look at it. They look at it in
the paint.
They look at it without a UV light on and go, just an empty paint can. Nothing in there. Completely empty.
Just completely empty.
So you can take this empty paint can if it's a bit heavy for an empty can. Don't ask me. Just let her bring it, I guess. But yeah, they have a moment. Like the dad has like some troubling pictures that he did when he was a troubled artist because his daughter had been stolen, and he's very impressed with how brilliant a painter Esther / Lena Klammer is.
She's a fantastic painter.
But I tell you, she's not so impressed. She's looking out of the windows at them doing some painting together. It's old Julia Stiles.
Mm-hmm. She's not impressed.
She's livid, and
she knows something.
She's trying to have a look in Esther's diary. She goes, "Oh, that's private."
Yeah, what are you doing looking at her diary? I am Esther. No, the rules don't apply. We know.
I am Esther. That's exactly what Esther would say. She has got me there. Fine. No, I shan't look in there. She hides the diary away. And then, perhaps inspired by the little boy that she met earlier, she's got a little rat friend now.
There's too many.
Maybe he is the boy. Plot twist, turned into a rat.
As punishment for being
like the witches. Like the witches.
When he went into the doc, when they in another cut scene, they go into the office and said, "He was spying on me," and then you are what you do, little kid. So I'm going to turn you into a rat, and you can watch what she gets up to all the time. That's your punishment.
You little rat. As soon as the rat's introduced, though, I mean, in a movie like this, you're like, how and when is it going to die?
What's going to happen to it?
I thought she was going to kill the rat, but actually, this is Esther's face turn. I think she's genuinely friends with this rat.
Mm-hmm.
Genuinely friends with this rat. They're best mates. All right, these two. I mean, on the surface, chalk and cheese, but deep down, they've got a connection. Maybe she made a rat friend when she was in the psychiatric unit as well.
She's got a little rat friend. Very nice little rat friend. And at first, this is when Julia Stiles goes, when she was, her excuse for looking for the diary is like, I was looking for my gold watch, but I don't know if you've seen it anywhere. Because at the moment, it would appear that what Lena Klammer's doing is getting ready to do another Robin. But I think she goes to leave that night with the armload of treasures, and then she sees the UV light is on, and the dad is doing some lovely painting. Again, she goes, actually, she goes back and tells the rat this. She says, I'm actually going to stay here for a while. She doesn't go into the fact that she plans to shag the dad eventually, but we know that's what she's
why is that
for.
Why is that her go-to, right? Okay. I'm genuinely curious, because if anything, planning to shag the dad who believes that you're their daughter is counterproductive to what your plan is, which seems to be integrating yourself into a family, right?
Yeah.
Just don't shag the dad.
Maybe thing is, I think originally she plans to rob them and leave, right? But then that is the reason she stays. I don't know if she has a plan for how she intends to progress their relationship, because I don't know, you'd feel if you really liked someone and they turned out to be a big old pedo, you wouldn't like them anymore. You'd go off them.
You go off. Is it a deal breaker for her though? I don't know. I think she just likes. She probably just likes being, she's been institutionalized for God knows how long. Probably just enjoys any sort of connection.
Well, again, I guess the reality here is that she is meant to be 30 but looks like a kid. It's probably really frustrating because she can fancy dads like the rest of us can, but unless they're wrong-uns, then they're not going to be interested in her necessarily.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Unless they're wrong-uns.
Unless they're wrong-uns, or she stopped being a crazy and said, I just look really young, I'm actually 30.
Yeah, like you said earlier, why can't she just dress a bit older and explain her condition to people and be like, listen, this is what's wrong with me.
But even if
I know plenty of like adult women who are not tall.
But also, if she did explain to the dad, that was it. How is she going to get him to go from, I believe you're my daughter because you look like her, to 2 seconds later going, I quite fancy you actually. It's all types of wrong.
Get a different haircut. Get a ponytail instead of pigtails.
I don't know, man. Some men are wrong-uns, like I say, John Coleman.
Yeah,
John Coleman, the ultimate wrong-un. 100%.
Nah.
Yeah. Having sex on your open top kitchen counter.
When you have 3 kids in the house. Like,
3 kids in the house and literally no doors anywhere in your open plan building.
He likes it. He's a voyeur. Not a voyeur. He likes to...
glass floors in the upstairs bedrooms.
The opposite of voyeur, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. The opposite.
The exhibitionist.
Exhibitionist. There we go. Thanks, Andy. I knew you know.
But she stays and doesn't do a Robin. But then it's the day of the big gala, and the dad, I can't keep calling him the dad. What's his actual name? Not John Coleman.
Yeah.
Why do they the day of the big gala?
Daddy Albright.
He's called Alan. His name's Alan.
Alan Albright, the double A.
Yeah.
Double A.
So double A. He's when his daughter was missing, he was sick of going to charity stuff. But now that he's back, he likes all the things he used to like. He likes wearing a suit and going to charity gigs, having sex with his wife, and in a scene that mirrors but is more appropriate, they go to have some sex in the bedroom this time. Even though he's only just put that tuxedo on, he's only just done it the dicky bow. Be ever so frustrating having to do it again.
Keep up.
But things are moving along in there, and as is tradition in these films, Esther's going to be in the doorway glowering at them while they're about to have sex, and thinks, "Fuck it, I'm going to slash this dress as I go."
Slash this dress. Why did they just think that it happened accidentally as well? Like, no one seems to think that anyone's responsible for it. They're like, "Oh no, my dress!"
An obvious rip, yeah. Like
someone just ripped it. What's wrong with you?
Oh, no, our passion must have been so intense that it's caused seams to split. But so that little bit of dress-based admin kind of ruins the moment. And they decline from having sex at that time and go out to a lovely gala and leave awful son Gunnar in charge to invite his horrible mates round. They've already had a little bit of a run-in with Esther, where a guy, what does he say to her? The guy that leans out of the car?
Oh yeah, that guy. He's just making out that she's weird for some reason. I can't remember exactly what he says, but he's just unnecessarily. Oh, my sister's just returned after 4 years. She got kidnapped or something. I'm just gonna wind her up when I see her.
I'm gonna wind her up and like your friend, like your school friends that you think, I'm gonna be real horrible to a 10-year-old that's just come back from a high-profile kidnapping.
Wow.
Yeah, because it would be like in the news and shit, wouldn't it?
Literally.
Yeah, but literally, I don't remember what he said again. The problem with a cinema film is I don't have notes with me, so I'm not going to sit there with a pen and paper in the cinema. So can't catch this. But
why not?
You know, the guy pulls up in the car and he says something shitty, you know, "Dos Videnia, you slag," or something like that, and it's like she turns around and says something to him in, I assume, Russian, saying, "Actually, your mom." He goes, "Oh, what did you just say?" He goes, "Oh, nothing." And he's round again. They're having a party. Esther's not gone to bed. She comes out, tells the guy to go fuck himself again. They send her up to her room to listen to old-timey records, as is her wont as a 10-year-old girl. And the policeman comes around again.
Policeman comes round, and this policeman,
yes, he does.
he's definitely got a bad smell. He's got
he popped around during dinner the other day as well, and they said, "Oh yeah, sure, we'll have a meeting another time." But he's come round again while the parents are out,
and he's gone, "I'm dying for a pee. Can I please use your restroom?" And they get, "Go on then, if you've got to."
He goes, "Can I please snoop around this house for clues? By the way, I can smell the weed from the road." And the guy's, "Okay, you're allowed to have a wee, but if you don't tell on me, we know what happens to rats in this town."
Yeah, that's a fair trade. I won't bust you. Depends what state are they in? Connecticut.
Connecticut.
That's not a state. Is weed legal? Who knows? But anyway, it seems like a fair trade. I won't bust you for the weed if you let me pee. It doesn't seem like a fair trade for me.
Yeah,
I would pee and then go, "And you're still busted for."
And he goes, "Oh yeah," and I'll tell my parents you stopped by. I said the same. It's like, what's in it for the policeman in this one?
Literally nothing. Yeah.
Either way, he goes and he takes Esther's only record that we know about.
What's that?
He takes "That's the glory of that's the story of love," the thing, and
that's the story of love. Yeah.
Takes it, dusts it for prints, and taxes off with it. Esther is livid.
Yeah.
So she puts a hot shower on and goes off out.
Yeah, hot shower is basically a similar sort of setup to put in a couple of pillows, arranging a few pillows in your bed to make it look like you're asleep. Hot shower on, goes to the detective's house, and then at the same time is when Trisha arrives home and
gets straight onto a diary again.
Straight onto it. That diary, right? Considering no one left alive in this film has touched that diary, it doesn't belong to them. They're all fingering through it with their filthy little
Yeah.
Fidgets.
Looking at pictures of moms with the faces scribbled out and dads with like love hearts drawn around them.
It's too up.
Saying
that for me is so heavy-handed. I can't deal with it. I know it's obviously been done before. We've seen it in lots of things, but I just feel now in 2022, I do not need to see that to confirm to me that she hates the mum and wants to get off with the dad.
Yeah,
we know that. We know that. You do not need the scribbled face.
She's annotated the picture. She's put like secret plan : pie off, and then a big arrow pointing to the mom. Absolutely shag, and the dad's been circled.
How many times has that worked out for her? Right, it seems to be it's always her plan to do that. Well, how many times has it worked out? I'm gonna guess 0.
Yeah.
God's sake, Esther, sort it out. Just live your life as a little orphan.
Yeah, or again, just go for that option of say I'm 30, but I just look dead young.
Yeah. So Trisha pretty much finds out that the shower is unoccupied, waste of water, cost of living crisis.
Dawn great wasting resources like that.
As we've established, private jet. This family did not care about their carbon footprint, but I guess just going because, dude, I want a shower. Thank. Oh, you're not here. Use all the bloody hot water. We put the immersion on,
and you've used all my Radox as well. Yeah, and this is where the twist essentially comes.
So good, love this.
Comes into play. However, I'm going to say however. All right, let's explain the twist first, and then I'll give you my however. So essentially, the orphan Esther goes into the inspector's house. He is making a drink, isn't he? Cutting up some fruit for a drink, and then stabs a knife into
respect for his chopping board.
And I'm like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen there. And then there's a little sequence, and then we see the knife's disappeared. Now I completely understand why Esther would need to off this inspector, kill him. The answer to all of her her problems seem to be just kill people, which is fine. And then how does the twist come to fruition?
So the detective is using his home database, like many detectives in these. He has no family that he lives with. He lives alone, to facilitate being murdered just as you like crack the case. He looks up the things, finds that Esther's finger. I don't know where we got original recipe Esther's fingerprints from, but he gets the fingerprints.
Did he just have them like when he was searching for the kid or something?
Like all children, they've been fingerprinted.
Yeah.
Maybe that when you go to the police station for a little school trip,
I
think it's just go on, do this, it'll be fun. This is what happens when you get your fingerprints taken. Put this in a database in case I ever need to prove your identity. He's looked it up and he goes, if you're not Esther, who are you? And then a little voice behind him says, Lena Klammer, knife to meet you. And then she stabs the shit out of him.
I hate how he says it out loud as well. It's so fucking
So she stabs him, and a bit like the paedophile that gets his head smashed in, you'd feel after one stabbing you might react and try and move away or go, oh no, but he just stands there quietly while she shanks him about 20 times.
She's got no, I don't know how many of these little outfits she's got, right? But she don't care about getting them soaked in blood at all. Like, I don't know, is Daz going to get out all the blood from her little collar and cuffs?
Danny Baker's going to turn up for like a doorstep challenge. Just do it live. Dominic Littlewood if you're older, if you're younger.
Okay.
So she stabs him, and then not enough to kill him, enough to make him poorly. And he's on the floor, like going, oh, I've been stabbed. Why?
But he's definitely dead. He's been stabbed too much, and in the neck, he's 100% dead.
He's definitely finished. And then he goes,
under no circumstances does anyone else need to do anything else to make him more dead that will incriminate them.
Yeah, and he goes, oh, who are you, though? But before she can answer, Julia Stiles pops in, goes, end of the line, bitch, and blows him away, shoots him about 20 times.
Shoots him. Neighbors are going to hear the gunshots. Incriminates herself. He was already dead. She didn't need to add killing a police officer to the list of crimes she's already committed. It is nonsense.
She just goes blam 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 blam, literally fills him full of lead, and then points the other gun at Esther and goes, "Right, mate,
I'm crazy too."
Who the fuck are you? Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
That's it. She's also, and she does point out that in this reveal here, we find out that she always knew that Lena Klammer was not Esther, because she knows for a fact that that Esther is dead, and she's doing what she always does, which is cleaning up the mess of her family, very specifically famous piece of shit Gunnar, who is responsible for original Esther's death.
She's cleaning up the mess of her family. Why not just let this little girl, adult, escaped convict, incriminate herself? Why get involved? Just let it play out. Let it play out. You've had enough stress in your life trying to cover up the death of your actual daughter. But no.
They're chucking her down a little chute in the woods. But yeah, she helps her cover up this one as well. So it's fine. We'll send an email to the chief of police. Say, "Dear chief of police, this detective.
God, I didn't remember this.
I'm taking my holiday effectively immediately. I can only assume he's got a lot of holiday banked up, and he expects him back in years."
This person's dead, right? Sorry, we've got a busy day tomorrow. Your holiday's not accepted. You told me you were going to be in first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Also, I don't know what time it's meant to be. These guys have got back from a gala, so it's probably about midnight. Imagine just, I'm actually not going to be in tomorrow.
You can't do that.
Very short notice.
Extremely short notice. Is it
not
is superiors?
Yeah, no. It's just come to my attention, Chief, actually, that I've solved all the crimes that have been associated with it. So before you assign me any more, I'm actually going to take that holiday.
All the crimes have been bloody solved, mate.
I will now be off to indulge in my favourite. I am going somewhere quite dangerous on holiday, so if this is the last time we speak, please don't look into this further. I'm going.
There's a lot of knife crime.
I'm going volcano spelunking.
A lot of knife crime where I'm going. Yeah, and I'm gonna have my back turned most of the time to people because I don't like looking people in the eye.
I'm going on my backwards walking holiday in the knife capital of the world.
And then someone might shoot me 12 times as well, just to make sure. Yeah, it's very silly.
I'm going to go and run straight through Sheffield, where they famously make cutlery. That's where I'm going. I'm going to go and have a reckless, like mosh tour of the Sheffield steel industry cutlery factories. Please don't worry about me, though.
I'll be all right.
Yeah. So they sent that email.
Ridiculous.
Pop him down a big hatch in the middle of nowhere.
I'll admit, for a second when this started playing out, I was a bit dumbfounded and like, what? Huh? I don't know. Did it get you, Lucy? Did you feel like?
Oh yeah. I just thought it was going to be another sort of poor family affected by Esther shenanigans. I'm not gonna lie. And then obviously when it happened, I was like, now it's getting interesting. You know what I mean? Now
it definitely needed.
Now she's being played, and that needed to happen. I think. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, because the fact that she's
kind of like
always
Uno reverse. Yeah. It's good.
The Uno reverse. What a move.
Yeah.
I really liked this. That it was a really fun twist.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we are now. They're kind of in it together because they're kind of both stuck because they go, right, I can incriminate you, you can incriminate me. So they've kind of struck like an unholy alliance that will last until one of them double crosses the other, which will be almost immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think from this point onwards as well, like I like the dynamic between the two like female leads. Like I just think it becomes more interesting and bitchy, and just there's more to it. Do you know what I mean? Because I think in the original Orphan, like the kind of scamming the family made sense, but like you say, it had to be different this time. So yeah, the third act is when it gets spicy. So this is what really kind of upped it for me and made me like it more than the first. So
because it's like they want to kill each other at every turn, but almost yeah, because it's almost like Trisha wants Esther to stay alive because she's like, if I just off her, it's going to be too suspicious that she's gone again. Also, Alan, the dad, he's perked up. he's perked up. I don't want him to
keep it that way.
I like having sex and going to galas. I would like you to really cheer up. So I really like this dynamic, and then she's kind of dressing and they're saying all the society folks are coming round, so you've got to pretend to be damaged but still be absolutely charming. Have you got any more art skills? Play the piano, you say? Absolutely, do that.
I'm shit hot at the piano. I am absolutely shit hot. But the thing is, there are some kind of parallels of like real life cases as well throughout this. I mean, like, I'm not going to name the cases, but I just know that there are parallels with real life cases, like family members who have been like murdered and then like they've just gone missing. Also, there's like a sort of poisoning subplot as well, where they're trying to poison.
So she plans to get
Lena.
So she plans to get rid of her, right? Because this is coming along. They're planning to. Oh, is it that she's planning to? Is it poison that she's going to kill her, or is she going to give her sleeping pills so she can then get her?
I don't know, or like just to keep her asleep so she can sleep soundly and not have to worry about waking up with an orphan like some sleep paralysis demon on your chest stabbing you in the face.
Yeah,
it's an orphan.
But I tell you what, the person that really goes hard on this one, Julia Stiles, seems to have a plan, and they're keeping it together for a while. Gunner straight away. For someone who Julia Stiles positioned as like, oh, he was just a bit rough with his sister and he killed her, like bashed her too hard in a pillow fight and took her head off, something like that. But straight away, Gunner's like, killed my sister fucking on purpose because I'm a psycho, and I'll kill you as well unless, we've come to an arrangement and you have to, basically I own you now. And the two characters basically have a standoff saying, no, fuck you. Beg your pardon. No,
literally, it's a classic.
Fuck you harder.
Yeah. And they're trying to get rid of them. Like you say, I'm on Esther's side on this bit because I think these people are worse.
Yeah, I mean those two are pretty much worse. So obviously after she gets her food poisoned, she refuses to eat it, takes it upstairs. She doesn't feed it to the rat. But the rat gets to it.
She gives it to the rat. She puts it on the floor, and the rat has it. Then she goes off and does
as you would if you're a rat.
Yeah, and she does some painting with the dad. Stays up late to do some painting with him. Looks like she might lean in for a kiss, but doesn't blow it. And then Julia Stiles comes down and goes, "I'll tell you what, fucking fine. You're not gonna eat your poison mac and cheese, eh? Well, I'm upstairs.
You're so ungrateful, not eating your poison.
I'm upstairs to have sex with my husband and not be a little mutant. Looks like a 10-year-old all the time. Really rubs it in. For someone you're trying to maintain this kind of sticky alliance with, don't go hard at her, calling her a mutant all the time.
Yeah, and the alliance is very sticky. That's a good way of describing it. Incredibly sticky. Yeah. So what with the rat? Obviously, she goes upstairs and sees that the rat's eating it and gutted. Old ratty boy.
The only rat she ever liked. Didn't like the little boy. It's only one room for one rat in my life. My little mate, the rat.
Yeah. And the next morning, everybody gets up, walks into the kitchen, and Lena's made breakfast for everyone. But the spread she's got going on for breakfast, I'm like, I couldn't do that if I had 4 hours to prepare it. It's unbelievable. It's like, oh, come on. What's going on? Hey, you had to make sure you had all the food in to do that thing. Cooking a breakfast like that is difficult. You got to make sure everything is ready at the same time. It's tough. Where's she learned that?
My least favorite trope in films is that massive ass breakfast. It's like, nobody eats this.
Rice Krispies, a bowl of Rice Krispies. Nobody eats it. I'm not at a buffet at a hotel where there's like a staff of 15 to 20 people making it. You're one singular,
literally
Estonian woman.
Yeah, I always deduct a point from films if they do that thing where it's like, I've made I've made breakfast. It's like a massive buffet, and everyone's like, sorry, gotta go, bye. And they
like
leave. And it's like, why have you done this? I hate it.
A massive tower of pancakes. I made you pancakes.
And the guy's like, sorry, I'm late, gotta go.
Sorry, all I'm going to do is grab a coffee out of this pot and then run out of the door.
Waste of food.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but people making you breakfast is the best thing. I would be late for work.
Same.
Someone's made a massive breakfast. Or use that lovely word for a far less depressing reason, a Brexit. Have breakfast as you're going out the door. That's what Brexit is to me, not the horrible thing.
The horrible thing.
Not the horrible thing.
I'll
tell you what
the
Brexit
horrible
is
thing
like.
that's ruining our lives forever.
I'll tell you what Brexit is like though. A smoothie with a rat in it.
That's exactly what it is.
So true.
Some people will tell you it's going to be good for you, but actually it's got rat in it.
Why didn't she just blend the rat up? Why did she put the rat in? I suppose she wanted to make a point, didn't she?
Making a point where she's going, do you want to drink this? So, oh, no. I couldn't. I'm not going to have any of your breakfast because it might be poison for me. I mean, not to my taste. And he goes, oh, that's right. I made you this smoothie, the exact one you want.
I know I try to poison you, but if you poison me right back, that'll cross a line. Okay, that will cross a line.
This is kind of great because like she's like, oh no, I couldn't possibly have it, and the dad's like, oh, I'll try. Oh no, it's not. I've made it just for mom actually. It's because it's poison. He goes, oh, okay, I'll have a bit. Yeah, gets her with this poison
straight down the sink.
Puts it down the old garbage disposal again. If this had not been set in the US, they have garbage disposals. You'd have just had a rat in your sink.
Rat in your sink, and it got rid of it. And the tail was like flopping about as well. I thought it was going to fly out.
It was horrible.
Poor rat. Yeah. Again, this is why I feel this is the only. Think about it. The people we've had killed so far. I guess the policeman was nice, but the rat is the most innocent victim we've seen. Well, I guess the art therapy. Okay, fine. The rat is in the top 3 most innocent victims so far.
The rat had a bit of character development as well. I kind of liked where this relationship was going, and then suddenly, in a smoothie, devastated.
Slightly better CGI than the de-aging as well. It's a nice little rat.
Yeah,
the rat's a little less uncanny. I think that I believe that rat as any age.
That's a proper young rat, that is. And basically, Lena doubles down on trying to kill Trisha, because when Alan is going to the city, to do an art gallery at the train station, Lena tries to push Trisha and Gunnar at the same time. She tries to get a double kill
because it feels like it's all escalating. They're both going to try and kill each other when they have an opportunity. This is when Double A himself, Alan Albright, has said, oh, do you want to just wander this busy train station on your own? I'm going to get some coffees. And she's going to do, say your double kill. She's going to shove him in front of a train.
Was she wearing like the little beret at this moment as well?
Yeah, she's dressed like Madeline.
Madeline, yeah, that's it. Annoying. Imagine getting killed by a little Madeline looking bitch.
We love our bread, we love our butter, but most of all, I love shoving my adoptive mom and fake brother in front of a train.
And she would have got in the way, but unfortunately, everyone in a train station gets in your bloody way, don't they? Yeah,
that's
exactly
worse.
What happens.
It's worse than a rat smoothie, that is.
That man's just
the rudest guy ever with the coffee. He's probably like giving out to them. Like, oh, what? Where you going, blood? It's like, whoa, she's 10. Like,
he's just going to carry on going about his life, not realizing what he's done.
He saved 2 murderers from being murdered.
I saved 2 murderers from being murdered today. Did you? That's good.
Yeah. So again, they've kind of fixed it that she wants to go to the gallery with Alan, but they've kind of fixed it that she can't go because obviously they want to use this opportunity to get rid of her. So
you'd do anything if you knew that you were going to be left alone. They were going to try and kill you. You'd do anything to get on that train. You'd leap onto that train because by the time the train doors are closed, that's it. So just stay on there, leap onto the train, grab onto a chair as hard as possible, and there we go. You're fine.
Yeah,
and then seduce the dad.
Yeah, seduce the dad. Change outfits in the city and say, "Oh, I'm not your daughter. someone else. I'm a famous artist. That
you look like
looks
her.
like a...
Nah.
Look at my teeth. Adult teeth.
Adult teeth.
Right.
And then pretty much immediately Lena's getting like dragged away, but she manages to like run away from them, doesn't she?
Fights them and then steals the car and then goes very briefly full adult. She puts on some shades, grabs a dart. She's punching a dart, driving along, listening to what's her music now? It's a really good choice of music.
It's like, yeah, what is it?
It's about being crazy. What does she listen to now?
I am an orphan. Driving a car. Yeah. She does too many things at once here, right? I mean, when you're driving, I find it hard to just get a drink and like sip it.
Put on some lipstick, put on some shades, have a cigarette.
Have some cigarette.
Have you guys played Deadly Premonition? There's a bit where like the detective's driving a car, he's got his phone, the laptop, a cigarette. It's like that, isn't it? It's got all this.
I've played it, but I don't remember that bit. But that's pretty much it.
I'll send it to you guys because it's actually hilarious. It's so funny. Like people who've played it will know what I mean.
It is just insane, and the things she does, and then she does. Doesn't she even try to make out that she's an adult? Like when they pull her over, she like
they goes, "Oh, was that
hair a bit?"
She does like a 90. Then again, that's her aesthetic. She gets like a 90. Was I driving too fast, officer? And he's like, "Was I driving Bell?"
We know you're the orphan, all right? We know you're the orphan. And she gets taken back. She gets taken back to the house, and this is where, like, essentially, like, I guess the finale starts to take shape. Is obviously Trisha wants to make it look like a suicide, get out of that situation, but also, I guess, I don't know, give Alan some closure about the whole situation.
We'll just say she's dead because Julia Stiles says to the policeman who drops her back off, "Oh, tell you what," and she was banging on about hurting herself, possibly killing herself in an unsuspicious way. I'd be gutted if she died, but it wouldn't be suspicious.
It wouldn't be suspicious at all. If you were Esther or Lena, wouldn't you just do anything you could to not go back to that house? Where you know they're going to try and kill you. Sorry, police officer. Yeah, they've been abusing me. They've been doing this. They've been doing that. Anything. But no.
We'll try something.
I managed to find it. I looked it up. The song that she listens to whilst driving is Maniac.
Oh, God. Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Of course it is. Yeah.
Maniac.
It's not quite as on the nose as I am an orphan.
It's pretty on the. It's pretty much on the nose, isn't it?
It's not too far off.
Oh, yeah, I'm an orphan. She's not an orphan, though. She's not an orphan, and
we don't know that she hasn't got that her parents aren't dead in real life.
True. That's true. But in this context, she's not an orphan.
Yeah, she's not the orphan.
She's not to orphan.
So yeah, they're gonna get rid of her. Alan phones up and says, "The policeman's phoned me. I've heard that precious Esther has had a bit of an afternoon, so I'm on the way back." She says, "Oh no, don't come back!" And then he's literally like not even putting him on mute, just covering the handset on the mobile. And go,
yeah, it's very. Is she dead or what? Is she dead? What have you done?
No, not you. Can you get a taxi back from the station? Kill
Esther / Lena.
Can you kill Esther / Lena, please? Gunnar. No. Just I'm really busy. Even though I said things were fine a minute ago, can you get a taxi back? So I've got my hands full here, not doing murders, but as far as you're concerned, narratively about to discover a suicide because they've grabbed her and they're gonna slash her wrist with some really blunt scissors first.
How many times does Lena do like a ghost face vanish? Like, when she KO'd, definitely KO'd, turn away from her for 1 second, turn back, gone. Jesus.
Yeah, when she escapes them the stairs first, it's that she does it several times in this finale. But first things first, she escapes from them when they're going to try and slash her wrists in the bathroom and make it look like a suicide. And then Gunnar once again shows his hand. He's wrestling with her on the stairs. He goes, I'll kill you just like my sister because I'm a lunatic. Like, gives her a backbreaker and lobs her down the stairs. and that's when the mom, Julia Stiles, comes out and goes, "You chucked it on the blooming stick." Because I couldn't help it. I just love murdering little people.
Does he say how he did? Did they say how he killed her? They said he was rough.
He said he was a bit rough with her.
Yeah.
Practicing his wrestling moves, I reckon, WWF style.
Yeah.
So she's gone. Because Julia Stiles is busy on the phone, she sends off Gunnar on his own, and he goes to the studio. And as we know, he gets his sword and goes, "Should I put my mask on?" Nah, I shan't do that. This won't be my undoing. And he goes through, and we saw a crossbow earlier in the thing, and the orphan, Lena Klammer, has seen original recipe Gremlins and does a full-on stripe on him. Like, he turns up and she goes, have a crossbow, and then just like we predicted earlier, he gets fenced, doesn't he?
Gets bloody fenced.
Absolutely fences the shit out of Gunnar. Ironically, stabbed.
It's quite a good death, actually. It's quite satisfying.
Yeah.
We just wanted him gone.
This is one of those things. I know 2 wrongs don't make a right, but
2 wrong-uns.
But Gunnar, have it, mate. You can be dead. That's all right. Still team Lena.
Yeah. Eat shit.
Eat shit, Gunnar.
Okay. Imagine you were Alan coming home though at this point, because actually not at this point. It's soon. And then basically, Trisha and Lena end up fighting in the kitchen. Very reminiscent of the Halloween Ends trailer, where people are getting flung over like islands. What are they called? Like the middle of the kitchen.
Yeah,
people are getting flung over islands.
Kitchen island.
I reckon it's the same
someone
kitchen.
Knocks the hob on.
It's hard to knock. You can't just turn a hob on. You got to
press the little ignition.
You press it down and.
What have you done? I accidentally turned the hob on. What? What? Just with your elbow?
Yeah,
don't believe you.
I've somehow pushed it in, twisted, and then hit the ignition a couple of clicks as well.
It never happens straight away, does it?
Yeah.
You get it wrong. I try and turn it down. I turn the gas off. Oh no, I've got to start again. Bloody hell.
But in the purposes of this fight, the fight gave me the same energy, like a very frantic, very brutal fight. It's a lot like you guys seen The Hunt?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's not quite as powerful as that, but it's like that, like really balls to the wall fight scene, people getting thrown around in the kitchen.
It's always the kitchen, isn't it?
It's because it's like
dangerous things in there, I guess.
Yeah, dangerous things, and like weapons are always like within an arm's reach, aren't they?
Yeah, I feel like the lounge has really lost its effectiveness as a scene for a desperate horror struggle, because people don't have so much bric-a-brac anymore.
No.
Like if you were fighting in the sort of 70s to 90s, there'd be vases and like just sharp bits of glass and trophies and things like that, like little glass prisms.
You should see my mum's house. My mum's house is full of tat. I can't stand up from the sofa without knocking like 4 things over. It's insane.
Has your mum got one of those stressful houses? Like everyone's like, going around when you're younger, going to people's parents' houses. My friend Adam, his parents had a stressful house to be in. Very lovely people, but so many ornaments. I feel if I would ever go around there with like a cold or something and be so incredibly stressed, you go down and sit, have a lovely chat with them and a cup of tea, and be like, I mustn't get up for anything because I'm in this safe area. Every surface has like a breakable item on it. I mustn't knock anything over.
My mum's got a table with so many like picture frames on it. If you knock one over, they all go over like dominoes. And I'm like, why have you arranged them like that? That's
house and cards.
That's counterintuitive. But then why have you arranged them like that? Oh, because you can see them all then, can't you? Well, if you knock one down.
Ben, what this is a metaphor for the importance of family. If one of you were to go, it would destroy the entire thing.
Pretty much. That's exactly it. So kitchen fight.
They have a kitchen fight. I kind of like it that even though she is holding her own, it is basically that Lena Klammer is does have the body of a 10-year-old, so is getting absolutely owned. When she doesn't have the element of surprise, a fully grown adult is smashing her to bits, and she is knackered.
Absolutely knackered. And what's a good way?
We've added fire to the equation now that the house is going to burn down.
And now the house is on fire. It's great.
As I said, imagine you're Alan coming home to see not only the house ablaze, but your daughter and wife hanging from the roof. You'd just be like, nah.
What happened?
What is gone down in the 20 minutes since that phone call?
They're wrestling with each other on the roof. Like Julia Stiles messes it up and the knife slips out of her hands. She's been trying to stab whose side do you think we're meant to be on here?
I think we're meant to be on Esther's side, aren't we?
Yeah, I was team Esther.
So.
I think we're supposed to be, because I think Trisha comes across as, what is one of the worst crimes could be, murdering your own kid. And I know she didn't commit the murder, but she's helped cover it up. So in a way, she's kind of like more evil than Esther, who kills strangers, I guess.
And she's rich and
also,
privileged.
lied to her husband and said that she was missing even though she's dead. That's pretty dark.
Exactly, yeah. I think everything that she's done kind of outweighs Esther. She's like a foil to Esther, isn't she?
Yeah.
I don't know how you felt about this, but I thought Trisha's undoing was quite underwhelming.
Just tumble off the roof and bang your head.
Just kind of fell. But if you're going to let go, right, you just let go and fall feet first, wouldn't you? You wouldn't go,
I guess she
smash your head on the curb.
Lie
Lie back and smash your head on the curb.
I've seen
you
10
try
minutes
and
of
break
the
your
Olympics.
ankle, not your head.
I've seen 10 minutes of the Olympics. It'd be classic lie. She's over-rotated there.
She over-rotated and smashed her head.
Oh, well, that dive. Over-rotated, absolutely.
So that happens. Alan doesn't seem to give a shit.
I guess it's like he gets like such a dump of exposition. So he's gone through the burning house.
Yeah.
He's gone through the burning house, got up to the top of the roof. The two most significant characters in his life, because fuck Gunner, are both hanging from the guttering. Like Lena Clammer is shouting, "Blooming hell, it's me, Esther. My mum's trying to kill me. Help! Help! We're gonna fall off the roof any second." And Julia Stiles is what would be literally inconceivable to you. Someone who just thought, "Oh, geez, it's been a bit of a day. I've been to an art gallery and I've been on a train, just trying to get back, and come back and the house is on fire." And then your daughter is saying that her mom was trying to kill her, and your mom probably does sound like the wife does sound like the crazy one at this point, because she's going, "She's actually a little mutant, and she's not. she's a little mutant boy, and she's gonna
little mutant boy. She's Estonian. She's an Estonian.
31 years old.
She's 31 years old, little monster kid, and she's stabbed up Gunner. She's fenced him down in the basement,
and she killed a cop as well."
Yeah,
she killed a cop as well. She stabbed him and shot him 8 times.
But don't look where the body's hidden, because that would be problematic. So just assume that I'm correct. And he makes a choice of who he has time to grab. And I think even without that information, you'd probably try and grab a kid first.
Yeah.
Well, they're a bit lighter as well.
Yeah. Grab a kid and then watch your wife fall to her death. Probably feel a bit guilty about that.
I mean, had I been AA here, I would have said to my wife very calmly, "Hold on for just a second, and
don't let go.
Don't let go and die. Or if you do, try not to over-rotate."
But then she dies, and then when he gets Esther, he squeezes her cheeks.
Yeah, he squeezes.
I'm so glad you're all right. Ow!
She squeezes the cheeks, and then the dead giveaway of Esther, her false teeth. She never ages a day apart from her teeth, which are still 30-year-old teeth. Got some wisdoms in.
Pop your teeth out, and the rest of your face gets old. And he goes, "Hang about."
Yeah, hang about. I never expected that to be true, but are you a little mutant girl that is actually a murderer? She goes, "Oh, I fixed it so we can be together." And he goes, "Whoa, this is a lot to take in while I'm standing on a burning roof." And
she just thinks, to take in, isn't it?
Just thinks, fuck it, and shoves him off.
Yeah. She's like, "This hasn't quite worked out, so here you go." Shoves him off, and he lands in a little fetus position next to his dead wife.
He also hasn't learned from watching her go either. He also over rotates and smashes.
If I just get into a ball as I'm falling like Sonic,
I'll just bounce.
If they had a big garden, to be fair, if there'd been like a loop at the end, you could have gone off.
No. Then essentially we get.
She walks really slowly down through the house.
This is mental.
While it's on fire as well.
This is mental. You wouldn't be able to breathe for a second. Your eyes would be burning. Your eyes would be full of smoke, your lungs. But she's like,
looking through the fiery house, even though I haven't got what I want, but I win.
She's like, oh, yeah, I'll just casually get my diary out from the secret compartment of the on fire doll's house. That's that.
That's not on fire at all. I smeared it in flame retardant gel before.
Say a few words for the rat before. She really takes the time. Should I make the bed? Best dad.
She salutes. There's the rest of the rat family are in that little vent. She salutes them, and then they burn.
So she walks down out the house on fire just as the fire brigade arrive, and then we have a closing scene where the policewoman who picked her up earlier and the child psychologist, who, by the way, in an earlier scene that we missed, they go back and they work together to lie to. So she's absolutely convinced that she is Esther now. And she does that great bit where she's into the dictaphone going, she's a well-adjusted and emotionally brilliant little girl. I am an excellent doctor. Goodbye. And
I thought that was going to be a moment where she said, I'm still not convinced, but she was like, I'm 100% categorically convinced. Nothing could make me think otherwise. Goodbye.
Nothing will make me think otherwise. And actually, maybe I'm mistaken, and my parrot has never been a macaw. So she's off. She's totally on board, and then she's like, oh, she had a horrible time, and now she's a bloody orphan.
Yeah. So that links it to the original, and I'm guessing but the time between the original and this one is not a lot at all now.
It's only a couple of years. She's only in that for the orphanage. I was wondering if we'd see the nun come and pick her up from the orphanage. I almost called Cece Pennison, but that's not her name.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean now. Can't remember
the original orphan nun, the one that gets hammered.
Nun. Yeah, and that's the end. And then the credits are in the sort of UV paint style, right? Which is the classic Orphan style.
Yeah,
now.
The classic Orphan style that she knows. The nun, Sister Abigail, is not played by Cece Pennison. She's played by CCH Pounder.
That's right.
Which is arguably an even better name.
It's arguably even more crazy. Okay, there we go. So that's that. That's the Orphan. Maybe it's fallen apart even more in my head. Now we discussed it at great length. Have we got any?
It has, but I simultaneously like it more because of that.
Yeah, me too.
Have we got any name game to be mucking about with?
I've got a couple for you, but because we did Orphan not long ago, all of these will begin with Orphan. The titles will be what her first one of them is.
I did the same. Yeah.
Do you want to go first this week, Ben?
Yeah, but the thing is, I've probably done very similar ones to you, haven't I?
So bad at this game.
It's okay. We'll round robin them.
Okay. Shall I go first?
Yes.
Okay. After orchestrating a brilliant escape from an Estonian psychiatric facility, Esther travels to America, but along the way, she stops over and over again to get a lovely, refreshing drink.
Over and over again?
Well, forget that. Just she stops to get a lovely, refreshing drink before joining up with a wealthy family.
So, Orphan drink begins with
the act of drinking, if you like, kills.
Orphan first swill.
No, it's just Orphan first kill.
Oh, first kill.
Thirst kill.
What a thickie.
My thirst has been killed.
So stupid.
Okay.
Wow.
That probably wasn't the best clue. I never think about the clue until I start saying it, so it's difficult. Okay.
Okay, so after a daring escape from an Estonian mental asylum, Lena Klammer learns that she can actually put her criminal ways aside and sustain herself by sucking in water filled with small shrimp-like creatures that are able to sustain her for years to come.
Orphan first krill?
Correct. Orphan first krill.
Hey!
Yeah. I was thinking
got
dill,
one.
but you did it.
Yay.
Okay. After orchestrating a brilliant escape from an Estonian psychiatric facility, Esther travels to America by impersonating the missing daughter of the frontman of Limp Bizkit.
What's his name?
Orphan Durst Kill.
Oh, that's it.
Orphan Durst
God damn
Kill.
it.
Yeah.
Kills the frontman of Limp Bizkit.
How could
Yeah.
she?
After a
It's just one of
daring
those days.
after a daring escape from an Estonian mental asylum, Lena Klammer manages to impersonate the missing child of illusionist and murder mystery solver Jonathan Creek, and goes on to inherit his house.
His house?
Yeah.
I really don't remember.
Jonathan
His
Creek,
house?
he lives in a certain type of structure.
You live in a church?
In a church. No.
First. Am I rhyming the wrong one?
Yes, because it's the first one of these buildings that she's ever owned.
First mill.
First mill, correct.
What?
Orphan
What?
first mill. Yeah,
What
Jonathan
a
Creek
clue.
lives in a windmill.
What a clue. That's we could have said anything, but that was the clue you went for. I can't judge you, I'm sorry. Okay. Last one from me. After orchestrating a brilliant escape from a German psychiatric facility, Esther travels to America with with nothing on her person but a couple of giant sausages.
Orphan Verst Kill.
Yeah, that was it. Not there first.
Correct. Correct.
I can give you one more if you like, then, guys. So, after a daring escape from an Estonian mental asylum, Lena Klammer goes over to her first Premiership football match. Unfortunately, there's no score at the end of 90 minutes.
0-0?
Nil?
Yeah, first nil. It's a first nil.
Well, first nil. You see how much money I pay
nil.
for this seat. It is 0-0.
Nil. No wonder she's the cross.
Wow.
She'd go to the toilet with one. She'd go to that toilet cubicle and go absolutely spanners like she normally does.
And gets the vodka.
Neck of vodka. No goals. Okay.
Oh, you guys, I don't go to football. Is that the standard procedure if there are no goals? Go to the cubicle with a vodka and
have
go
a
mad.
meltdown. That's how I respond.
Depends, doesn't it? Okay, now we've got to rate the film. Lucy, would you like to go first? A to E. Can't remember what. I don't know if anyone can remember what we rated the first one. How it's going to compare.
I think it's a C from me, if I remember correctly. And you liked it more than me. I think that's how it went down. But for this one, I'm going to go B because I liked it more. And it's ridiculous, but it's fun. And like I say, it's kind of goofy and stupid, but it was nice to see Isabelle back. I really liked what Julia was doing. I just thought it was stupid fun, I guess. And like, I don't know. I just had a good time with it. So I liked it a lot. I thought it was more entertaining than the first one. But that's going to piss off a lot of people. I don't care. I just thought it was great, and it entertained me greatly, and it was a nice bit of sort of, just nice to see her back after all this time, I guess.
No, that's completely. I'm on board with that. How are you feeling about it?
That's kind of how I feel.
It's nice to have a good cross section there. What are you thinking, Andy? Middling?
Yeah, you know what? This was very silly, but I was genuinely surprised and delighted by the twist, and it took a different direction. I think it's interesting to play with that dynamic that then again, John was no good in the first one, but you know, it's just like this dynamic that that Lena Klammer slash Esther is horrible murderer, but actually you're on her side for quite a lot of the film because she is the lesser of two evils. You know, it's not something we see that successfully done with a lot of slasher characters or like murderous characters, not since the days of Freddy and Jason, that you really go, oh, actually I quite like the villain in this. I quite liked it. It is very silly and there's lots to unpick in it, so I can't go higher than I'm still going to go for a C, but I enjoyed this. I think it's worth seeing for what it is, a bit of silly horror stuff. It will not change your life, but I had a good time watching it.
Straight C.
Straight C.
Straight C. I don't know. I can't. If I rated the original quite highly, there must have been a reason for that. I don't know. You know, when you're kind of watching a film and you're in a bit of a cynical kind of mindset, and like everything kind of doesn't quite work for you. And I think when you're in that mindset, it's much easier to see those problems. You know, and if you're in this, I like watching dumb films. I like watching dumb fun. I like kind of looking past the sort of plot holes and the problems in order to enjoy them. But I don't know, with this one, it just didn't quite land for me. I found it a bit silly. I couldn't quite look past, and silly in a bad way, I guess. I couldn't look past the fact that she didn't quite look like a kid. I'll give the film kudos for the twist, because I think I would have enjoyed it even less if it was just a carbon copy of the original. But the fact they tried to take it in a different direction, I think kind of makes sense. But for everything it did, I did kind of feel a bit underwhelmed by the finale as well. It just kind of just played out exactly kind of how I expected it to after that. I think I'm gonna have to go for a D, you know, because it's one of those where it's been a while since I've watched a movie, especially a new release as well. It's been a while since I've watched a new release where I've kind of felt pretty annoyed during my watch of it. And, you know, this time I did feel kind of annoyed. I completely understand, you know, why it would be enjoyed. But I guess maybe it's one of those, obviously back in February, that was the first time I'd seen Orphan. So it wasn't like I've been waiting around for years and years to finally get a new installment of this. It wasn't necessarily a film I was particularly fond of anyway. So the fact that this has come along, just a bit underwhelming for me. And that poor rat, justice for Ratty, Smoothie Rat.
Yeah. Justice for that little rat. Punishment for the other little one. Absolute rat boy.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, there we go. Oh, but still, as I mentioned with Day Shift at the top of the show, still watchable. You know, the films that are still watchable.
Very watchable. Depending on where you are listening to this. Streaming in the US and some other territories, cinema here. You know,
I'm not sure when it's out, but
I imagine if it's got a streaming release, things come to streaming so quickly now. So even if you're in the UK and you don't fancy, you know, lots of American accounts and VPN juggling that would allow you to see it on that one, and you know, a cinema is out of range for you, then you probably won't have to wait too long to see it. I think it's worth at least one watch if you're a horror fan.
Yeah. I think there's, you know what? I'm looking at Wikipedia. There's rumors about a third film here.
Oh.
Isabelle Fuhrman is so passionate about the character, she can play the character forever. There's a lot to that character, and I think in future stories, she would probably become a bit more cold-hearted again. Oh, yeah, because in this film, she was full of joy and love.
But she loved that rat. That was a spark of joy that was.
And she
was
loved the dad briefly before she pushed him off.
She loves rats and dads, doesn't she? Got a real thing for rats and dads.
Combine the two with the dad in the second one.
Next time she's gonna be a 60-year-old woman, and they've de-aged her to look like a.
I guess they could give her a neck brace and a snotty nose, having been stuck in that cold water for a bit. Do a sequel.
Yeah, let's do it. Supernatural Orphan. Okay, there we go. That is that. Next week is our Fright Fest 2022 special. Lucy's attending the event, so possibly will join us for that episode to be chatting about the films we see at that event. 2 in a row. Look at that.
I know. Sorry about that.
That'd be exciting. Please don't apologize. So yeah, there we go. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the show, become a patron over at patreon.com/horror hangout. First of all, actually, Lucy, where can our listeners find you online and all of your socials and other platforms?
Yeah, so I'm mainly on Twitter. That's at Lucy Jade Buglass. I also have my Twitter account for my podcast, which is T like the drink, the time pod, and then my personal Instagram is just Lucy Buglass.
Lovely stuff.
Simple.
Wonderful. All of that will be in the show notes as well. So thanks to our patrons. Thanks to John Crinham, patron against his will, Ben Scaife, Stephen Christopher, Laura Kendrick, Toby Miller, Ollie Child, Leslie Carlo, Julia Bilgren, John O'Down, Nick Spill, and Pazuzu. Thank you all very much. Thanks to Taj Easton for our theme music. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. Please consider giving us a rating or review and head over to the Facebook group Horror Hangout Board of Advisors to interact with us more there. We're on Twitter. It's at horror_hangout_, and we're on Instagram at Horror Hangout Podcast. Thank you both. Thank you, Andy, obviously, as always.
Sorry, thanks to you.
Thanks to me. And thank you very much, Lucy. And thanks, of course, to Lena Clamor for always being
always be clamoring. If you're clamoring for more episodes of the Horror Hangout,
look at that.
Tell you
ending with a segue as well.
You can get on the Patreon for some bonus content, some hot and fresh stuff coming your way. You can get on the back catalogue if you only recently joined us. Tell you what episode number is this, Ben?
This is episode 246. Get yourself back to February to find the episode where we discussed Orphan.
Yeah, you won't be clamoring for long. You
220.
Get your mitts over them now today.
Yeah, go and do it. Double bill it. Backwards double bill.
Look, listen to them chronologically. Where's bloody Esther / Lena go next?
If you got to the end of this episode, you can't listen to them chronologically. If you go back to the first one, don't be crazy.
You can chronologically in the way the film runs. Perfect.
Oh my god, yes. Didn't even think of it.
You'll literally see it in the orphanage immediately, and you'll be watching, thinking, "Watch out, family! I know where she's come from.
We know what she's been involved in.
She's the orphan. Watch out!" They won't be able to hear you. This is a recorded bit of entertainment. But you can have fun doing it anyway.
Yeah, it would be fun. We've had fun. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
See you for Fright Fest, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye.